could have been, should have been, might have been the face mask.
What is going on, everybody?
What up? What up? You know what I just realized?
What's that?
I put a waiver video out earlier today, and I didn't put time tags into it, so that's my bad. I'll have to get that fixed.
Yeah, we can do that in post.
I'll have to get that fixed. But what's going on, everybody?
What is happening, everybody? How did
Week
y'all
13.
do? How did y'all do week 12?
Did we get those wins? I didn't.
Did we help you? Did we hurt you? Hopefully,
I
we
got
didn't hurt you.
pasted all over the place. I don't think I won a. I didn't win a single.
That was me the week
keeper
before.
or dynasty. Like my highest stake leagues, I got boat raced every single league.
Well,
It's fine. It happens.
Hey, yeah. You can't expect to win every week.
These are the time. This is when it gets dicier, though. We're 2 weeks out from the fantasy playoffs, and pretty much, I have to imagine most formats. Most formats for fantasy playoffs are 2 weeks from now. So.
At this point, you know where you stand. At this point, the basically all trade deadlines have passed.
Trade deadlines have passed, most likely.
Right.
Dynasty leagues, maybe not. Dynasty leagues, there's a lot of dynasty leagues that don't have trade deadlines. Not all, but that is definitely a non-zero type of thing. But keeper league, redraft leagues, in all likelihood, your trade deadline has passed.
Damon Loose, what's going on, man?
Hell.
Oh, dude, started Pittman instead of Higgins.
We probably
I would have advocated to start
advised
Pittman.
that.
I would have advocated to start Pittman over Higgins.
I liked Higgins a lot this week, but I would have said Pittman. Or I think we did.
That's just tough. Hey, I started Pittman everywhere I had him, so I feel your pain. And he hasn't had the strongest 3-week stretch here. But if there's anybody in Indianapolis in the passing game who can,
that's a well you can go back to.
It's Pittman. So Pittman, he hasn't reached Cortland Sutton levels for me. Where it's
the only thing that hurts with Pittman is the week 14 bye.
Yeah, but if you're playoff bound, Pittman's a solid start every week that he is playing. Personally, that's how I feel about it. And I just as a disclaimer, I gotta notice that my internet connection is unstable, so I apologize if.
I see that too.
Yeah, I apologize if we glitch out a little bit here. But what's happening, everybody? What's happening, Damon?
Hopefully that doesn't happen. But
how'd you do? Even though you started Pittman this week instead of Higgins, how'd you do?
Yeah, I did there wasn't a follow up of got the dub anyway, so I'm.
Yeah, and there's that crying emoji. There. I don't feel great about that.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, man.
Look, we got 2 more weeks to right the ship. If we're in the play, for anybody who's in the playoff race, but this is the time to tighten things up. This is the time to, identify those handcuffs, right? Look at the running backs that went down. Dalvin Cook, done for at least a couple of games. Christian McCaffrey, done for the season. DeAndre Swift is going to miss probably a minimum of a game. He needs to be on a watch list because Detroit is winless. Like DeAndre Swift is like a shutdown mode type of candidate. Running backs are fleeting in the NFL, man. And this is the time. Have those handcuffs ready. The time has come to start advocating for, like, do you have like a decent or middling RB3 rostered who you've kind of been hanging out hope for, but you maybe have only started him once, if at all, this year, and there's a handcuff for your RB1 sitting out there.
Yep.
Like, the time to make that move has come. Like, I'm not worried about bench stashes at this point. Like, I got Nick Chubb. And I have Dearness Johnson. I'm not dropping Dearness Johnson for any hot waiver pickups this week. Like, he's a guy that's a hold.
No, there was a discussion last week or just a few days ago about whether or not somebody should drop Samaje Perine, I believe, for Ty Johnson. Wasn't that the switch off? Somebody wanted to see if they could pick up Ty Johnson in light of the Michael Carter being put on IR news.
I said no.
You said no. I said yes. Now's the time where you make the move to pick up that Samaje Perine. I
Kevin
still
Coleman had
liked
like 15.
Tevin
carries.
Coates, yeah, it didn't work out. It didn't work out. But you can still go up and pick up Perrine. It's not like anybody's gonna be competition for you on the waiver wire for picking him up. I think you got for whoever that was. I forget who exactly that was.
I remember the conversation.
I agree with you 100%. Now is the time to start stockpiling
those quote unquote upside RB3s, or whatever, whoever you have. The time has come.
Yeah, you just saw Alexander Madison is now basically an RB1 for the rest of the season.
He's an RB1.
Or for the rest of the regular season at least. Same with is Jamal Williams an RB1 now? He's at least a high-end RB2.
He's an RB2 who should get plenty of volume, especially because he's a capable pass catcher in his own right.
Yep.
He's proven that. And so with so few wide receivers for Detroit to work with, and again, I'll say this, I'm worried about, does DeAndre Swift become a candidate to potentially be shut down because Detroit's not playing for anything other than draft position at this point?
I don't think so. Look, it's Dan Campbell. If it was any other coach, like maybe, but he's so old school, hard-nosed football. If you can play and you're healthy and you can play, you're going to be out there on Sunday. I feel like that's the mentality they roll with.
That's a call, though, that might not necessarily come from the coaching staff. That's a call that could come from
what's going on, Xavier?
Office.
What's going on, Xavier?
So that's something you have to just be wary of. I'm not sitting here predicting it, but it's just something that you have to be aware of when you have these bad teams that suffer, that have young promising players that get injured. It's just something to consider.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? What's going on,
Xavier? What's going on, my tongues? Oh man, yeah, that was the first disagreement between me and Nick last week. Javonte Williams or AJ Dillon, and we were just talking about this off stream before we started the live stream. I believe there was 2 and some change half PPR points between the two. So if you started either, you probably did pretty decently. But Javonte Williams did get the edge there.
Slight edge.
So Nick gets the edge there.
It's the slightest. It's the slightest of edge. Obviously, when we're between 2 different takes like that, and the performance is so close, I'll say it's a bit of a push. But yeah, obviously Williams was slightly better.
And Damon, sorry you lost by 15 points, bro. Hopefully you'll win by 15 points next week.
Yeah, we got 2 more weeks to right the ship before the playoffs.
Hey Xavier, what's going on, bro? You want to know the outlook on Judy rest of season? Also, Knox removed this week. Played Muth the past 2 weeks.
Just be aware, Xavier. Fryermuth is being evaluated for a concussion right now. Regardless, even if he came out of that game healthy,
Knox.
Dawson Knox, I think, is must start at this point. I think he's a layup, regardless of your other options.
He's a top 5 tight end at this point.
Unless you have Kelsey or Mark Andrews.
He's a start over pretty much everybody else.
He's a start over, maybe Kittle, but Kittle busted this past week. Although
honestly, for me,
49ers got
my tight end rankings go Kelsey, Andrews, and some combination of Gronk and Knox.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, Waller's out for the foreseeable
Waller's
future.
out for at least one
season.
For at least one game.
I know Theo Von Miller is happy about that. But outlook for Judy rest of season. We saw Drew Lock come in place of Teddy Bridgewater, who did sustain an injury in last week's game.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that hurts Jerry Jeudy rest of season.
If Bridgewater comes back in, then that's better for Jeudy, I think, because the one who has completely fallen off is Cortland Sutton,
and that's right after getting a 4-year deal worth, I believe, up to $90 million. It was either 60 or 90 mil.
Well, the Broncos, and we've been speculating this for a lot of the season, the Broncos are a prime candidate to be in the quarterback market next year.
Yep.
And a big name at that, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, whether it's Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm. They locked up Tim Patrick there. They locked up Cortland Sutton there long term, and obviously Judy is there long term, and so is
for
Fant
the rest of this
Alberto.
season, it's hard to feel good about the Broncos pass catchers because the quarterback play is suspect at best.
Yeah, I mean, Judy, at the beginning of the season, in that first game, it looked like he was going to be a PPR asset because I believe he was hyper targeted by Teddy Bridgewater in that first game before he sustained the high ankle sprain. Upon coming back, he has not lit the world on fire with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. And if we remember last season, when the Denver Broncos were forced to rely on Drew Lock for the entire season, in a year where Cortland Sutton was out for, was it the entire year, or was it like 4 to like 6? Was he in for 6 games?
It was essentially the entire season.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Jerry Jeudy still didn't light the world on fire. Jerry Jeudy was a compiler who had a few hot games. The efficiency wasn't there because Drew Lock and him just did not. They didn't mesh. Their skill sets weren't.
Drew Lock's
aligned.
better for Sutton. Bridgewater's better for Jeudy, but.
So my outlook on Jeudy is high-end wide receiver 3 for the rest of the season. Yeah. Jeudy as a talent, I believe he's better than that. But there's so many weapons in this offense, and I can't trust the quarterbacks here. Yeah, so Jeudy rest of season is a high-end wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we hope that helps Xavier. How'd you do this week, bro?
Yeah, let us know.
Damon Luce, what are you guys' thoughts on starting Mac Jones instead of Dak Prescott for the rest of the season? Oof.
I mean, look, Mac Jones is playing incredibly well right now. They get Buffalo twice, who took a gigantic hit on Thanksgiving with the loss of Tre'Davious White.
Mm-hmm.
So their defense is a little less intimidating than they were a week ago. And if you're going to have any type of success whatsoever against the Bills, it's probably going to come through the air, not the ground. So with 2 games still to come for the Patriots against Buffalo, that's a somewhat of a
I don't know how much of
for Mac Jones.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a boost I'm giving Mac Jones there because Trey Day is out for the 2 games that he matches up against the Bills match up against Mac Jones. I mean, it bodes well for their number 1 wide receiver, whoever that is, but the Bills still boast one of the best safety tangents. They still boast one of the best, when both healthy, linebacker tandems in the NFL. In Matt Milano and Trey Edmonds. From a coverage perspective, I mean, I still think they can get it done. They might not be the best defense in the NFL anymore. They might fall down to somewhere within the top 10. But I don't know how much of a boost that's going to be for Mac Jones. He's been playing really well. And if there's a test for the Bills defense, it will be against Mac Jones with Bill Belichick at the helm, obviously. Yep. But the Patriots' weapons don't scare me either. I believe you think that the number 1 target for Mac Jones is Kendrick Bourne.
I mean, it's looking that way. I mean, Aguilar gets more of a snap share than Kendrick Bourne, but I mean, Bourne's got at least 4 targets, I think, in the past 6 games, and in 4 of the past 7, he's over 65 yards receiving. They're clicking a little bit, those 2. I'm not sure I'm ready to go there. Ultimately, as far as Dak against Mac Jones, outside of the dud that he had, Dak did a couple of weeks ago against Kansas City. I mean, he's still thrown for multiple scores 3 of the past 4 games. He ran for a touchdown 1 of those games. The yardage has been, they had to start the season. If they're going to start giving up points, that just goes right back to favoring the offense, to favoring the Cowboys offense. Getting Amari Cooper back would help. It sounds like he's on the wrong side of potentially playing Thursday night.
Yeah.
They reported that he's still not feeling well. So That's not looking good, but they're going to get CD Lamb back. Michael Gallup is an excellent, play. Dalton Schultz has been a tight end one this year.
And isn't Blake Jarwin back now?
Blake Jarwin is back or he hasn't been
Right.
activated yet.
But he should be relatively soon.
They expect him back, maybe not this week, but they still expect him back eventually. Look, the Cowboys still get 2 games against Washington, which is a division opponent, so that has to be taken into account.
Correct? Don't they get
and
it?
Do they get the Giants? Well, tomorrow, Thursday night, they get the Saints, which there's nothing scary by the numbers with that matchup.
Nope.
Against the run, yes. Against the pass, no. They get Arizona, who are not great by the numbers, but that's a game at home for the Cowboys, and that might be a shootout. So I'm sticking with Dak. Dak would need to stink up the joint against the Saints, and Mac Jones would need to blow the doors off the Bills for me to change my tune. And I'm not ready to go there on both of those takes.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, Mac Jones feels a little bit like, like Baker Mayfield rookie season, or some of these quarterbacks in the rookie season where the NFL hasn't quite figured out how to attack them yet, and they're just kind of running wild in their rookie start in the rookie season, and we'll see if he comes up against any adversity come his second season in the NFL and moving forward. Dak was a top 5 option coming into this season. Over the course of the 5 games he played last season, he was the QB1, and it wasn't even close. I know he doesn't have his full squad of weapons here, but the team is going to have to rely on him more and his arm more with Ezekiel Elliott being down. Ezekiel Elliott is banged up, and I know
news
there are contrary reports between what the beat reporters are saying and what Jerry Jones is saying. I'm more inclined to believe the beat reporters
now saying he's going to get a full workload on Thursday.
That's Jerry Jones, though, man. If you look
at
that report,
that was a beat reporter saying he's going to get a full workload.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a beat reporter.
All right. Well, then I retract my statement. I saw that. I just saw the last statement.
The pendulum
that,
has
Jerry
swung.
Jones has been making.
Pendulum has swung all over the place. No, Jerry Jones's comments were that he was optimistic about Amari Cooper, and then as it turned out, it was like, no, he's still sick. That was I think what you're thinking.
No, I saw some glowing states about how he feels about Ezekiel Elliott moving forward. They might have been said in the same press conference, but he definitely said some things about specifically Zeke that made me think, okay, it's just Jerry Jones talking. But if you heard it from a beat reporter, I'll believe you.
It's all on Twitter.
But
from
still,
a beat
regardless,
reporter.
for this question, Damon, I'm starting Dak if I have Dak over Mac Jones.
Yeah,
I just am. The ceiling's higher, and the floor is probably about the same. But thanks for your question, bro. Appreciate it. And hey, I can't spell either. It's all good. Vinny Stacks, what's going on? Started Bateman over Waddle, and Panthers over Eagles.
We
defense.
definitely
Lost by 2 points.
Definitely advised Bateman. Definitely advised Bateman over Waddle. That was a miss. With the Panthers defense, I think the process was still there. Cam sunk them, which I'll take the L on that one. I was advising starting Cam this week as a strong quarterback stream. Cam was cooked this past week.
It seemed like he tried
one of the worst quarterback performances, I think it's fair to say, that we've ever seen.
Yeah, I think he tried to force it downfield a lot to shake that narrative that he doesn't have the arm strength anymore. You saw him sail passes over people's heads multiple times. He did link up with DJ Moore for one long bomb early in the game. But it doesn't. And with Christian McCaffrey not there, taking some of that pressure off of him, things aren't looking good for Cam. And I was, both Nick and I were in on Cam, very in on Cam coming into this week, and I'm not sure how I feel about that anymore.
Until further notice, there's no way we can. After that was a performance that was so bad, that's like, okay, we have to pivot off of, recommending him until further notice.
In his second start.
Yeah. Not good. Very, 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 very bad by Cam. So that's like, and so the Panthers defense was put in some bad situations as a result. Miss on our part. But also didn't expect Cam to have a god-awful performance.
And we didn't expect Lamar Jackson to throw like 4 interceptions. We would have thought Bateman
4
would have
interceptions.
had a better day, even though, Waddle had a really good day. We would have expected
Waddle
Bateman
popped.
to do better than he did, which would have gotten you those 2 points. And, that's... Sorry about that, bro. And you said Lamar let you down. Yeah, man. I mean, 4 interceptions.
Lamar just didn't have a Lamar game. I mean...
Yeah. And all 4 of his interceptions were throws to Mark Andrews.
It's forcing the issue a little bit.
I like what that says about Lamarck Andrews' rest of season. But that doesn't.
But he's got to capitalize.
Yeah. It was just, it was an off day for that entire offense. So yeah, man, we hope that it was just an off day for your fantasy team, and we hope you get back on track. If you have Lamar Jackson and Bateman, that's a good stack. If you have the Panthers and the Eagles defense is one of the best playoffs schedules in the of the entire NFL. So,
yep.
Looking at those factors, man, I think you're gonna bounce back, Vinny. I think you're gonna bounce back.
Should be all right. Should be okay.
Xavier Dubs, Demont for Quan.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, there's no reason to have a whole lot of confidence in Saquon for the rest of 2021.
I mean, do you believe in Demont rest of season?
Sure. Probably at this point more than Saquon. Prior to him coming back from his injury, we were pretty adamant that we liked his playoff schedule. These next 2 weeks don't look great coming up. Home against Arizona, on the road against Green Bay, but the playoffs, home against Minnesota, great matchup. On the road against Seattle, great matchup. Home against the Giants, great matchup. To that point, week 17, Saquon's on the road against the Bears. Ugh. You want to play Saquon championship week on the road against the Bears? I don't really want to.
I mean, we've been fans of David Montgomery since basically the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. And he proved us right in the beginning of the season in that early stretch before he got injured. Then we saw the emergence of Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert has been relegated to the bench. David Montgomery is the guy for the Bears, and he's basically that entire offense outside of Darnell Mooney, regardless of the quarterback that's playing. He had a down week this week, but I think he was hurt by the fact that he didn't have a rushing threat at QB. I think when Justin Fields is in there, David Montgomery does better, and I think Justin Fields is going to be in there as soon as he's healthy again. Which, if not, isn't this week, it's next week. So you're going to get David Montgomery with a great schedule and a rushing quarterback to help just kind of equalize things on offense for him. And yeah, I think the arrow's pointing up for Demont for the rest of the season. And for Saquon,
it's kind of it's blah. It's not down because he's healthy at least, but it's.
I don't like the offense. You can't trust anybody in that offense because, I mean, pick a player. They're all injured or about to be injured or coming back from injury.
Yeah, like in a close game against the Eagles, Saquon got he caught 4 balls, but only for 13 yards, and got 13 carries for 40 yards, and most of that came on one run. And I'm I hate if you take the way the big play, he didn't do anything. Well, guess what? The big play happened, but it was like a 20-ish yard run. He didn't score on it. Saquon is very meh for the rest of 2021. So yeah, I would take David Montgomery for him straight up. No problem with that.
Yep, and season long, I think that's a solid trade, bro. Solid trade.
Yep.
Forward thinking. I like that.
Yep.
Adam, what's going on? Kadarius Toney, Russell Gage, Kendrick Bourne, or Christian Kirk? Do you go Kendrick Bourne, as you alluded to him being the wide receiver
Kirk
1 right now for the Patriots?
Yeah, Kirk gives me pause with that, just because he's been so steady. Mm-hmm. No, I'd say Christian Kirk.
You'd say Christian Kirk?
Yeah, just a little more consistent.
And
Christian Kirk has been sneaky consistent this year. He didn't have a great game going
Kyler
into
Murray
the bye
is coming
week,
back,
but
coming back all the way healthy, right?
Yeah, the Cardinals have so far they've been kind of like on Kyler's week 13 status. So like it's not like a total 100% guarantee that Kyler comes back for week 13. But by the fantasy playoffs, that week 15, 16, 17 stretch, if Kyler's, getting finally close to 100%, he's going to play. And I do like that passing attack a little bit more than I like the Patriots passing attack.
Yeah, agreed.
So I would go Kirk.
I'd probably go Kirk too. I mean, is DeAndre Hopkins, what's the deal with him?
Yeah, I mean, he's also still questionable. That like at this point, how can you, you're not dropping Hopkins or not playing Hopkins or anything like that. But how can you trust him? He's still slapped with a questionable tag, and it's a hamstring.
Yep.
It's hard to feel good about DeAndre Hopkins even coming out of the bye week.
Yeah, I think I'd go Christian Kirk too. Is AJ Green still injured as well?
I don't think so.
I know Rondale Moore had a decent PPR week last week, but he didn't blow the doors off.
Not on the injury report as of right now.
Okay.
But he's been very up and down after the first 1 or 2 weeks.
He had a week last week where, I mean, at least in PPR, he caught every single one of his targets. I believe he had 10 targets, and it amounted to
that was
51 yards, and that was
no
without
Hopkins.
Kyler Murray.
I think that was the week. I think that was the week AJ Green missed.
There you go. Was that with Kyler Murray or Colt McCoy? I forget.
It was definitely with Colt McCoy. So, or was it with was it? No, okay. AJ Green did play that game, but it was with Colt McCoy.
But yeah, I think we can confidently say that we both are going Christian Kirk here.
Yep.
Kirk. Thanks for joining us, Adam. Xavier Dubs, I won last week. I won the last 2 weeks, 8-4.
It's good.
Good job.
Okay, and yeah, so Allen Cook, Demont, Moore, Watt. Okay, so that's pretty good.
Lenny
Evan
had a great
McGoatson,
week.
Lenny had a phenomenal week. Waddle had a phenomenal week. Obviously, with Dalvin Cook down, that hurts.
Yep.
Hopefully, I don't know. I guess you might not have Madison, or maybe you have Madison. I don't know.
We hope you.
If you don't and he's available, he's spend all your FOB since you're the Cook owner or number one waiver claim, whatever.
You, regardless of whether or not you're the Cook owner, spend all your FAB on Alexander Madison.
Spend all your FOB on Alexander Madison if he's available.
Yeah. Sheet 1, what's going on? All right,
Sheet.
Must win week. Ugh. All right.
This is the time of year. This is what it comes down to.
And AB if they play. He has Mitchell, Pollard, Javonte if not. Also trying to pick up Boston Scott. My opponent needs a running back. So, all right, you're trying to ice him out. I see you.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, hey,
So Kamara and AB if they play. Are you going those guys over Mitchell, Pollard, and Javonte? Regardless?
An active Kamara.
I'm playing an active Kamara, but I'm talking more about AB here.
Yeah, well, Kamara, right. Well, he threw it in there, so I just wanted to reassure.
Right.
An active Kamara, even with tempered expectations, like maybe we're not expecting as much of a workload. Maybe Mark Ingram mixes in a little bit more. You're playing Kamara. Yeah. You got to.
He's a must
I know, and Taysom Hill might be the quarterback. Although I thought I saw like a Fantasy Pros tweet that apparently it's not like now all of a sudden it's not a 100% guarantee that Taysom plays. whatever. Regardless of who the quarterback is, obviously Taysom would be more of a touchdown vulture, more of a rushing production vulture, and maybe doesn't throw to Kamara as much. You don't feel as good about that. You
But
still
he's
have to
still an
start
RB1.
him.
Yeah. If
You
he's
still
not
have
a
to
high
start
end
him.
RB1, then he's a low end RB1.
If
AB
Antonio,
is the question there.
well,
But I think if AB is not playing, you throw
well, if
Mitchell in
Zeke
there.
plays, right, well, or Javonte, well, or both.
Nah, man, I think with Mitchell basically doing what you said
That was
Shanahan
another
wouldn't
miss.
do
I was worried about Mitchell.
Mitchell had a
this week.
game last week, and it's clear Shanahan loves him, and he's over the hand injury. So out of those guys, I love Pollard. I'm a Pollard owner in one of my leagues, and I wish I had him in every other one. Javonte, I wish I had him in every league. I don't have him in any. But of those three, for next week, I'm going Mitchell over either of those guys. Because Mitchell has the entire role to himself. And he's been killing it this year.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson.
He's been getting,
Jeff Wilson can probably safely be dropped.
Mitchell's been getting the rushing and receiving work, and he's been succeeding at both. And he barely has any competition.
San Francisco.
So out of those three guys,
and they get Seattle.
Yeah, if AB's
Mitchell
not playing,
has to
I'm playing
actually
Mitchell.
Sheed. Any running back, and this is not just for Sheed. This is for anybody who's got a running back with Seattle on the schedule. If you have a running back who's playing Seattle,
Woof.
play that running back.
Seattle looks terrible.
They're a train wreck, and they just gave up 20 fantasy points last night, both to Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick.
Yeah,
they've been giving up a million
approaching Jets
fantasy
territory.
points to
They
running
are
backs
the
all year.
They're giving up the second most points to running backs, as far as defenses go. The first is the
so
Jets.
Mitchell has
the
to.
second
So actually,
is the Seattle Seahawks.
Mitchell has to be in.
So you're playing
Mitchell
Kamara
has
and
to be
Mitchell
in.
regardless. If Kamara doesn't play, you're playing Mitchell and. Are you going Javonte?
Javonte, I can't. I'm sorry, this is maybe just like a mental block for me. If Zeke is healthy, I have a hard time playing Pollard because you never know when he's just going to have that blah game because Zeke gets all of the work because Jerry Jones has 90 million reasons to keep giving Zeke as much work as he can.
And he saved his day the last week on Thanksgiving. He was basically splitting work with Zeke. Neither of them did very well. Pollard looked more explosive with his touches, but then he got that special team score. So he had to produce for you via special teams, whereas Javonte is getting enough work in games every week to be the guy. And this was the he led the Denver Broncos in receiving this week. I don't know if you know that.
Javonte did.
Javonte led the Denver Broncos in receiving this week.
Javonte's nice.
So if Kamara and AB aren't playing, I'm going Mitchell and Javonte. And if Kamara and AB are playing, I'm going Kamara and Mitchell. How about you?
Deal. Yes.
Yeah?
Again, any running back that's going up against Seattle is a must start. So that is, and this week that's Elijah Mitchell.
Now, his last comment there. Are you trying to pick up Boston Scott?
Trying to pick up
just
Boston.
to block
who are
an
you
opponent,
dropping?
block an opponent from getting Boston Scott?
I don't hate the strategy, but who are you dropping? Because I see down there you say you have Sony Michel. Sony Michel is a handcuff.
Over,
I'm still holding.
I'd keep
over
Sony
Boston,
Michel over
a guy
Boston
like
Scott.
Boston. Now,
isn't Henderson out?
Now, obviously, Scott is enticing.
Isn't Henderson out?
He's
didn't he
banged
get injured?
up. He's
there
not.
You go.
He did, but he's not suffered a quad strain. He's not guaranteed out yet, but it's obviously something to monitor. But to that point, I'm not dropping Sony Michel. Like some dudes who you don't have the handcuff for, I just said at the top, like maybe you drop those guys to get a handcuff for your RB1. Sony Michel is not one of those guys. You hang on to him because, like, even if you don't have Henderson, because now it's looking like Henderson could miss. We probably aren't going to know that until Friday, but that's enough information I need to you want to hang on to Sony for at least one more week.
And
in a potential matchup against Jets. So
his production kind of slowed down a little bit too. So
yeah, but Sony Michel got no work this past week with the healthy Henderson.
Yeah,
so
but with the banged
Henderson's
up
still the dude.
Sony Michel got 20 touches earlier in the season.
He said he could drop Curtis Samuel. Yeah,
I would do that.
Drop if you can drop Curtis Samuel for Boston Scott. Yes.
Do that.
Yes. And Xavier, real quick, knocks over Freiermuth this week. And as much as I like Freiermuth, probably knocks over Freiermuth every week.
Now, going in his favor is the fact that Ben Roethlisberger doesn't have many people to pass to. It's Deontay,
Ben
Claypool,
Roethlisberger can't
Freiermuth.
pass. Right. But it's Diggs, Knox, and Beasley right now for Josh Allen.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that Muth is still a good bet for 4 and a touchdown every week.
Oh sure, I have no problem with Freiermuth, but gun to my head and I can only start one, I'm starting Knox.
Yeah, and it's not close for me. But I do like Freiermuth this
not
season
at this point.
and moving forward. I do. But Knox is just on another level.
Freiermuth is a low-end tight end 1 rest of season. Yeah. Right. Freiermuth is a low-end tight end 1 rest of season. Knox is a clear-cut tight end 1 rest of season.
Yep.
So, yeah. And
but
appreciate
Xavier,
the support, Xavier.
Yep. And Damon.
And David, you're welcome. Hopefully we can bounce back a little bit this week.
Elias, what's going on, bro?
What's going on?
Should you drop Emmanuel Sanders for I'm guessing that's Amir Abdullah?
Amir Abdullah, sure. I got no problem with that.
What did Amir Abdullah do?
Not that much, but I'm not convinced that. So Chuba Hubbard is if Chuba Hubbard is available, he's the second claim this week behind Madison. If both of them are available, Madison is 1, Chuba Hubbard is 2. But I have serious concerns about Chuba Hubbard because of the matchups. Amir Abdullah had 2 carries for 4 yards.
4 yards and 2 catches for
20 yards. But he had
6
6 targets, caught 2 of them for 20 yards. The 6 targets is a little bit more tantalizing. Yeah. I was saying this last week, John. How do you counter a good run defense out of the backfield? It's with a pass-catching running back. If Amir Abdullah is going to get 4, 5, 6 targets out of the backfield, he's the sneaky dude over Chuba Hubbard that I might prefer. And at this point, Emmanuel Sanders over the past month plus is not giving you anything.
I'm not ready to go Chuba Hubbard over Amir Abdullah over Chuba Hubbard. I'm regardless of the format.
Sneaky.
No.
Sneaky. But I'm ready to drop Emmanuel Sanders.
I'm sorry. I can't bring myself to put Amir Abdullah even sneakily anywhere close to Chuba Hubbard rest of the season.
Well, I'd rather have running back depth than receiver depth on my bench going into the playoffs.
That I agree with.
So, yes, I am fine with making that move. I'm fine with making that move.
But I can't help but think that there are other better backs to pick up than Amir Abdullah.
Well, if Abdullah is the
right
one
now.
that Elias is asking about, then maybe not.
If there are any other backs out there, Elias, throw it in the chat. We'll have a little bit more of a discussion about this, but we both don't hate you dropping Emmanuel Sanders for Amir Abdullah.
I don't hate that move. I don't hate that move at all.
I'm not a huge fan of Amir Abdullah.
Sometimes opportunity trumps the talent.
Understand that.
And I have serious concerns about Chuba, given the slate of opponents he gets in the fantasy playoffs. It's Buffalo, it's Tampa Bay, it's New Orleans. That is low-end RB2 with way more downside than upside written all over it.
But Chuba can catch passes too. They're just not using him.
Yeah, but if they're gonna deploy Abdullah in a committee,
yeah,
all I'll say, I am not advocating Abdullah over Chuba Hubbard. You're
advocating
saying.
Abdullah over Emmanuel Sanders for the rest of the season.
Right now, today, yes, and that's even with Abdullah on a bye week this week. Sanders isn't giving you anything.
I know. I agree with you there. My
Time
argument was that I feel like there's got to be better backs for Elias to pick up than Amir Abdullah.
Maybe.
So, Elias, if there are any other backs that you think that you can pick up or that are on your wire right now that you can pick up, throw them in the chat and we'll have a little bit more of a discussion about it. But in a vacuum, that is a good move.
Yep.
And thank you for joining us, bro. Yeah, man, Xavier Waddle is a must start until further notice.
Jalen Waddle's got to be in lineups.
Marlon Humphrey came out of the game against the Miami Dolphins and said that Jalen Waddle is going to be a top 10 receiver next season because he believes in the talent and he had such a hard time guarding him, and that's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. And Waddle has done nothing but quietly produce, and he doesn't have a great quarterback, doesn't play in a great offense,
doesn't need one.
He's just getting it done. So yeah, I would say Waddle is a must start, depending on your wide receivers. Obviously, if you're rolling 3 deep at wide receiver 1, this isn't for you. But Waddle is basically entering must start territory for the rest of the season, if he hasn't gotten there already. So.
Yep.
Yeah, we like Waddle rest of the season. John Pagurayan, what's going on? Hey, congratulations on winning last week.
What's up, John?
Oh, you lost.
Congrats
Cooks.
on winning, but losing Cook hurts.
You lost Cook. Yep. Who should you put in the flex? Sterling Shepard, David Johnson, Darrell Williams, or Logan Thomas? 12-man league, full PPR.
Well, Shepard needs to get healthy first.
Right.
Shepard hasn't played like most of the back half of this season, so can't advise on him. Didn't David Johnson flop in what could have been?
David Johnson got a lot of work, but he basically split the backfield with Burkhead.
10 carries,
who didn't
for
do much better.
Yards, 10 carries for 39 yards, 2 catches on 3 targets for 16 yards. David Johnson is not a start. Week 14. Oh crap!
And that was against the Jets. And that was against the Jets. So
I just said start a running back against Seattle. That's not this week, but that's next week for David Johnson.
But if he put up what he put up this week against the Jets, I'm not advocating starting him against anybody else.
He's toast.
Because the Jets are averaging more than 7 points per game to opposing running backs than the second worst defense against running backs in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So if David Johnson can't get it done against the Jets, I'm not going to expect him to get it done against anybody. I don't care who they're playing. So he could be playing Seattle. I'm still not starting David Johnson. I don't care at this point.
Yeah, he's toast.
If you bust against the Jets, you're done.
I think I think it's Logan Thomas. I think it's Logan Thomas because he's back. He's this clear starter. And he had a touchdown overturned last night. Like he should have scored. I think it's Logan Thomas. I think that's your play. And now he's got a game under his belt.
Yeah, you got CEH returning, so I don't know how much Darrell Williams will be involved.
Darrell Williams is a bench stash right now with a little bit of upside.
And David Johnson can't be trusted. So yeah, by default, you're looking at Logan Thomas, and that's not a terrible bet.
And I think given those options, I think it's a relatively easy call.
Yeah, it's not a terrible bet. Hey, Sheed1, thank you so much for the
appreciate
support.
That, dude.
Appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for always being here.
Yeah, if you got any more questions, bro, you already know. But John, we hope that helps.
Hopefully that
go
helps.
Logan Thomas, especially in full PPR.
Yep.
Especially in full
I think
PPR.
I think Logan Thomas is a safe bet rest of season. Should be a low end tight end 1, maybe like high end tight end 2. But
I think he's underrated.
Who else is there? Like that's a like who else is there? Who else is going to take targets away from Logan Thomas outside of Terry McLaurin? And we might be without J.D. McKissick this week.
Mm-hmm.
J.D. McKissick had to be carted off last night. That's Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas, agreed. Bender, what's going on?
Everybody, wipe your feet.
Appreciate it.
Kick them shoes off. Stay a little while. Maybe
I know everybody watching is relaxing, but it doesn't take much to move your hand down by the mouse button. Click, make a little click. Just throwing that out there. Thank you, Bender. Thank you, Bender. Thank you, Slim, for being in here. What's going on?
Slim,
Tim Shields, what's going up? What's up? What's going on?
Combine 2 greetings in one. I like it.
Hey, Joshua Loyola, what's up?
Joshua, what's going on?
Ayuka or Deontay at flex. This is Nick's worst nightmare.
Nah, look, and I have been on Ayuk for a couple of weeks now, but I mean, I can't sit Deontay. It happened we got Deontay versus DK Metcalf, and I sort of slightly allowed myself to be talked off of Deontay over DK. Deontay was better.
Deontay was better.
Deontay, all he does is produce. All he does is deliver.
If he had a better quarterback, what do you think he would be? What do you think he would be if he had a better quarterback?
A clear wide receiver 1. Last 3 weeks, 14 targets, 13 targets, 13 targets. 9 for 95, 7 for 101 and a score, 7 for 83.
I saw somebody earlier in the season compare Deontay Johnson to Cooper Kupp, outside of the fact that one plays with a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback, or a Hall of Fame level quarterback. Maybe not a Hall of Famer, but...
Maybe not a Hall of Famer. I'm not ready to go there yet. But he's good. And one plays with a corpse. One plays with a corpse. Yeah. Deontay, 4 out of his past 5 games, he's got at least 13 targets.
He's
Deontay.
been one of the most consistent wide receivers in the NFL over the course of the last two
Dude's
seasons.
A stud. Dude's a stud. He's an absolute stud.
Yeah.
I know it's Baltimore, but by the numbers, that's not as bad of a matchup as it usually is, and they're at home. Deontay.
I know Ayuk had a good game. He's had a good stretch
and
of
it's
games.
A good matchup. They're playing Seattle. It's a good matchup.
Been borderline dominant. And
Deontay, he's rock solid.
And that's in the face of
so
basically some obstacles this year.
Yeah.
Having a quarterback as bad as Ben Roethlisberger, but still putting up the points that he does.
Helps him with
week in,
the
week
checkdowns. It's those short intermediate throws. Like Ben can still make those happen because Deontay's good enough to just get open.
And one of his floor games this year was with Mason Rudolph. So you can't even
in the rain.
Yeah, you can't even get mad at him because he still delivered a decent floor. So it's Devontae.
Six for 50. 6 for 50 is his floor.
Yeah.
Deontay's the new Antonio Brown. He's the new AB.
You heard it here first, y'all.
Deontay's the new AB. So, yeah, I will never advocate for sitting him ever again.
Adam, hey, you're welcome.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully that helps. Go get Kirky.
And
Christian
Xavier,
Kirky.
You got him?
I think that's Madison. Or talking about Madison? Okay, so you already know what to do.
Yep.
He's in your lineup week 13.
Tim Shields. I've been starting Kyle Pitts at flex. I can't anymore.
Oof. I agree.
It's
time
Stafford,
to move.
Patterson, Hill, DK, Henderson, Andrews, Pitts, Hilaire, Jamal Williams, Gage, Judy, and Kendrick Bourne full PPR.
Well, okay, so what's the starting lineup? I assume you're playing
3 wide receivers, and a flex.
So you're playing Tyreek Hill, that's a layup. You're playing Patterson, that's a layup. You're playing Mark Andrews as your tight end. Clyde needs to be in there. And at least this week, especially if Henderson can't go, Jamal Williams needs to be in there.
Yep.
If Henderson can go, I might still advocate for Jamal Williams. Well, wait, maybe don't let me get too far ahead of myself because the Rams are playing Jacksonville at home. Who do the Lions have? The Lions.
But no, I don't think Pitts is a must.
Minnesota. There's nothing
flex
scary
anymore.
about that.
I don't think Pitts is a must start at flex anymore.
No, I think Pitts is
especially
safely.
Considering you have Cordero Patterson.
I think Pitts is safe to leave on your bench.
Yep. Hey, he's a great backup to have. I would love to be backing up Mark Andrews with Kyle Pitts on the teams I have Andrews.
But Pitts can safely be left on the bench. Here's the problem: when your best weapon on offense, well, outside of Patterson, when your best pure pass catcher is a rookie, it's easier for teams. And also, let's be real, Matt Ryan is 2 steps away from being Ben Roethlisberger. I think Matt Ryan is close to being toast as well.
Well, let's dig into this because Patterson he can fit into a wide receiver or a running back slot. So do you fit him into a running back slot and start Hill and DK at your wide receiver, and then with Henderson out, put Hilaire at your second running back spot, and then start Jamal Williams in the flex?
I'm not dying to play DK at this point.
I'm not either, but man, I mean, the upside is still there.
Is it?
He's got
I'm
8
not sure
touchdowns
that
this year, bro.
Yeah, I know, but look at that. But like, a lot's changed from week 1 to now. The Seahawks are toast.
Yes, they are.
And Russell Wilson is not playing well.
No,
at
he
all.
isn't. He isn't
At all. Like, this is not as much on. I mean, it's a little bit on.
But then
DK,
Okay, so if you don't feel confident starting DK, what's your lineup look like? Tyreek and Patterson at wide receiver.
Patterson and Hill at wide receiver. Mark
and
Andrews is
then
my
Hilaire
tight
and
end.
Jamal Williams at running back, and then who's your flex?
And Henderson. And okay, fine.
If Henderson's not playing,
DK over.
Yeah. So then you have to
DK.
put. Yeah. Then.
But like, if Henderson's healthy and active, give me the running back in a great matchup over DK playing on a bad Seattle team.
I'll give you that.
That is
I'm just
nothing more than a question mark.
I just don't think that Henderson is going to be playing this week.
Then if Henderson sits, then DK. But if Henderson's in there and active, and it sounds like he's fine, he's going to be over the injury, he's going to get the starters work. Patterson and Hill are your wide receivers. Clyde and Williams and Henderson are your running backs on your flex. If you start 3 receivers, then sure, you can throw DK in there. But if you only start 2 and Henderson is healthy, DK is my bench.
Agreed.
DK is my sit.
Agreed. I agree with that. Yep.
There you go.
Hope that helps, Tim. Hey, you're 9-3. Good job, bro. And a 12 team.
Yeah, congrats. Yeah. Well, that's always exciting. Yeah, congratulations. You are well on your way to the playoffs. So you can take to play with here.
It's true. Yeah, I'm with that. Hope that helps, Tim, but don't feel afraid to sit Kyle Pitts. It's all right. We would advocate that.
Among those options, I think it makes sense.
Yep.
But anyway.
Xavier, would you contemplate trading Demont for Elijah Mitchell?
You want Elijah Mitchell as a Niners fan. I can understand that, but
yeah.
But remember, we got to play with our heads, not our hearts here. That's tough.
It's tough.
Elijah Mitchell is incredibly enticing this week, and his playoff schedule is pretty good, except for the semifinals. They go on the road to play Tennessee, and Tennessee has been very good against the run. They've been very strong against running backs, whereas David Montgomery doesn't have a bad matchup in the playoffs.
True.
I think I ultimately say you're talking about 2 good options, like a good running back for a good running back. That week 16 game on the road against Tennessee for Elijah Mitchell is what's telling me no. You hold David Montgomery, because that week 16 game for David Montgomery is Seattle.
I will just throw this out there. David Montgomery in PPR leagues right now. 11 fantasy points per week. That's what he's averaging for you.
Okay.
Elijah Mitchell, 14.8.
Well, okay.
Does that change anything for you?
No, because that's just like that. That all goes out the window in a 1-game playoff.
True.
That goes all out the window in a 1-game playoff. Yes, Elijah Mitchell's got a couple of good matchups in the fantasy playoffs. David Montgomery has one more favorable matchup by the numbers in the fantasy playoffs. And that semifinal week is against Seattle. Dude.
All right. No.
Yeah.
It was a question. I was just bringing up the numbers to see if that swayed you.
I got you. I'd rather have Montgomery.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Montgomery.
Yeah. It's close. It's closer
definitely
than
close.
I would ever have thought at the beginning of the season or even halfway through the season.
I'd rather have Montgomery.
And I know being a fan can sometimes you just want your guy in your squad, but if you're trying to win, go with the guy with the proven
Mitchell
track
has
record.
Mitchell has 2 strong playoff matchups. Montgomery has 3.
Yeah, I'm going with the guy with the proven track record and the schedule.
Yeah.
Not just the hot start to his NFL career.
Yep.
But I get being in on your guy. I get wanting to have your guy in your squad. But Sometimes
you can draft him to your heart's content in 2022 because I think people will have pause on drafting. I don't want to get too into the weeds on this. This is all I'm going to say, and then we can move on. I think people are going to be gun shy on drafting Elijah Mitchell in 2022. I think his ADP is going to be more than reasonable. You can get him then. But right now, have David Montgomery.
Yep. Will Conjure, what about Jeff Wilson? What about him?
What about him? He's not a start, and I was worried about Elijah Mitchell coming into this past week. I said on our stream, on our start sit stream, I was a little concerned that it was a smokescreen that he would play. Turns out he got the lion's share of work, and Jeff Wilson was relegated.
Hey, look, Deebo Samuel got more rushes than more
Wilson's
rushing
no longer,
work
I mean,
than
I don't.
Wilson.
I
Now
think
Deebo
it's fair
Samuel's
to
going to
say-
be out for a few games, so now Jeff Wilson might get a little bit more work.
Yeah, true. Deebo being out. Okay, fine. Wilson or Deebo being out means Wilson is much more of a hold if you're not desperate for, if there's not somebody obvious on the wire. Like if Alexander Madison is out there and you have the number one claim and you can drop Jeff Wilson for Alexander Madison, you do that. Outside of that, Jeff Wilson is now more of a hold without Deebo.
This gets into that handcuff discussion because, again, if there is a handcuff to the 49ers RB1, especially with Trey Sermon looking like he might be put on IR, it's Jeff Wilson.
Trey Sermon's not a threat regardless of whether he's healthy or not.
Right, I get that, and I would agree with that, but there were rumblings that he's going to go on IR, which means even if they needed to, they couldn't play him. That was my point. Even if they needed to, I don't think he's going to be available. So Jeff Wilson becomes a much steadier hold for me. I don't feel
he's a hold.
playing him even in a game without Deebo Samuel. If we're expecting Deebo Samuel to miss 1 to 2 weeks, I still don't feel comfortable playing Jeff Wilson. But if anything were to happen to Elijah Mitchell over that span,
then he's the RB1.
We've seen what Jeff Wilson can do with an RB1 workload at the end of a season. In the last 3 games of last year, he was the RB6.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeff Wilson is a hold for me. He factors into that handcuff situation for me as we approach the playoffs, the fantasy playoffs. So I will. I agree with you, Nick. I'm holding Jeff Wilson this week, unless I can go and get a guy like Alexander Madison or somebody else of that caliber for this week.
That would pretty much be it for me. Like Madison, given the fact that Deebo is hurt, Madison would yes. If you're like, oh, Madison's out there and I could get him, and the only guy on my bench that I'm looking at that I could theoretically drop is Jeff Wilson, then yes. Outside of that, he's a hold.
She'd one blocker play. I'm dropping Curtis Samuels.
Oh yeah, that was for Boston Scott.
Yeah.
And would you play him in the flex role for the matchup over any of? No, I would not play Boston Scott over Elijah Mitchell against Seattle. I would not play Boston Scott over Javonte Williams, even if both Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard were out. I'd rather play Javonte.
No, this is a move to purely block the guy that you're playing against from getting. Which is fine.
You could do that, and you can do that as well
within
your right.
Enough. I don't think you need to go out and play him. In addition to that, remember what you're doing it for. You're not doing it to start.
But he's worth all. Yeah.
You're doing it to keep another player from starting him. The move is worth it, but remember why you're doing it.
Yep.
That's my advice.
Yep.
But as always, to you, bro. Thanks for the great questions. Thanks for being involved in the chat. We appreciate you. Will Conjure, should I play Javonte Williams at KC this week? I think you can play Javonte Williams every week.
Probably
moving forward.
Yeah. Who are your other options? Unless you've got Austin Eckler and and Najee Harris and who else? Unless you got studs, unless you got obvious studs, Javonte is perfectly safe to put into your lineups, in almost every scenario, in almost every format. Yeah, you can play him. You can absolutely play him. You can play Javonte in any matchup you want this year. He'll deliver.
Yep. And Xavier, is that Deontay? Is Deontay wide receiver 10 right now?
Is he? I actually don't even know.
Who is the wide receiver 10 right now? Let's look.
He could be.
I wouldn't doubt it.
He's that good.
He's wide receiver 14 in PPR.
No. It's a little lower than I thought it might be.
Wide receiver 10 in standard is Mike Williams. Wide receiver 10 in half PPR is Chris Godwin.
Really? I thought Godwin
wide receiver 10. Oh, you talking about Jalen Waddle? Yeah, Jalen Waddle in PPR leagues right now is wide receiver 10.
Oh, holy hell. There you go. Must start.
Yep.
That's a wide receiver 1 right there.
Yep, that was our whole argument for Michael Pittman being a must start, was that earlier in the year he was the wide receiver 9, I think, through 9 weeks. So the fact that Jalen Waddle has snuck in there through 12 weeks as the wide receiver 10, yeah, man, he is a must start right now. So good call. Good call, Xavier.
Yep.
See, she'd won again. Thank you for the super.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And Elias, you could get Samaje Perine. I would do that over Amir Abdullah. Especially if you own Mixon. I would do that right now.
Yeah, if you right. Okay, so that's yes. Just get the handcuff.
Yeah.
Just get the handcuff. Protect yourself, because we look what just happened this past week. Dalvin Cook down. Christian McCaffrey down. DeAndre Swift down. Darrell Henderson got hurt. Ezekiel Elliott, there were concerns about him, even though the news has somewhat turned around. Darrell Henderson banged up. I think I already just mentioned him. Like, just, yeah, get the handcuff. Just protect yourself and get the handcuff.
Yep.
And Emmanuel Sanders is a perfectly fine drop for that.
Yeah, Joe Mixon right now is averaging the 4th most touches in the NFL, right? Through 12 weeks.
Yeah, and Samaje wouldn't get that work, but if anything happened to Mixon, at least you have the guy that could directly benefit as far as
I'd say he'd get 75% of that work, and then the 25% would be given to Chris Evans.
Chris Evans
man,
would
as the
would
Mixon
factor in.
owner moving into the playoffs, Samaje Perine is the way to go. Over
is absolutely worth adding. I don't, 10-team league, 12-team league, 14, whatever. Get your handcuffs. Lock them in now before it's too late.
Yep.
Because you could, if you don't need them and you're in the semifinals or whatever, then you can drop them then if there's a guy that makes sense to pick up. But right now is officially the time to secure those handcuffs.
Yeah, and you say that you have great wide receivers. So yeah, man, if you trust your wide receiver core and you know that last wide receiver for you is probably never going to be starting, but you could see a route to where Samaje Perine, if one unfortunate injury happens, Samaje Perine could be your wide receiver 1, or at least your wide receiver or your running back 1 or running back 2 moving forward.
Yep,
that's the way to go. So yeah, we agree with that, and thanks for your inquiry. I'm glad you threw that in there. I'm glad we didn't say just go with Amir Abdullah, because Samaje Perine, there's a chance he could help you a lot.
A little bit more valuable to your team specifically.
Yep. And John Pagurayan, you're welcome, man. Thank you for joining in. Durko04, half PPR, Flex 1, James Robinson, T. Higgins, Mike Williams, Brandon Ayuk with Debo out.
Oh, that's right. This is the 5. He's got 5. They get 5-point bonuses for big plays.
Are you going Higgins? It's your boy Higgins. Are you going Ayuk with Debo out? Are you going running back with J-Rob off of a down week for J-Rob?
Robinson didn't have a good week, right?
He didn't have a terrible week. He didn't
have a terrible week.
He didn't have a terrible week.
For 86. I have a hard time moving off of James Robinson.
I don't think he's going to get any plays over 40 yards, but I do have a hard time moving off of James Robinson as well, but factoring in the points for plays over 40 yards. Are you still going J-Rob? Because all it takes is one play for one of these guys to overtake what he brings as far as upside. None of them have his floor.
No.
But with that bonus for points or for plays over 40 yards, those wide receivers could overtake his upside.
I think I'm sticking tentatively, at least right now, and we can come back to this, this weekend, Durko, as well, because we got time to figure out the lineup because none of these guys are playing on Thursday.
Yep.
I'm penciling in the running back.
Those are good options to choose from.
They are.
You got some good depth there, but I think right now I'm going with the running back too, as he carries high floor, not quite the ceiling of these other guys if they hit on that 40-yard play.
But Robinson's got the volume pretty much like secured.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So yeah.
Sorry, I'm taking a look at where Robinson falls in terms of the running back ranks on the season.
You do that while that
he's running back 15 right now.
All right, so he's
very high end RB2.
High RB2 with low end RB1 upside. That's the piece I'm playing.
Yep, I think I am too. But thanks for your question, bro, and hey, good job on drafting because you got great depth there. So we hope you're all set for the playoffs.
Ask your commissioner to add another flex spot.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Cameron Jepson, what's going on?
What's up, Cameron?
Who is better and by how much, Metcalf or Lockett, in fantasy value?
I mean, it's tough, right? Like they go back and forth, but it almost feels like at least right now or recently, they haven't popped together in the same game. It's been either or.
The only metric or the only ways DK Metcalf has been better in fantasy has been because he's been scoring touchdowns. He has 8 on the season. Tyler Lockett has heated up of late, and since Russell Wilson's been back, he's been the guy that Russell Wilson has that rapport with. If I'm trusting one right now for the rest of the season, can't believe I'm saying this, I'm going Lockett.
Slight edge to Lockett.
Because he has wide receiver 1 upside, just like Metcalf. Before this stretch of games, I would have said that Metcalf is the more consistent wide receiver, or the more consistent option.
And if Russell Wilson isn't playing well, and you just made a point, Metcalf has been delivering because of touchdowns. If Russell Wilson's not playing well and not throwing touchdowns, and remember, he had a career high last year, so that definitely boosted Metcalf, just dating back to 2020.
Yep.
If the touchdowns aren't there and aren't reliable, then it's Lockett, because at least Lockett and Russell Wilson, and this is proven in the advanced analytics, their connection is phenomenal. Like Wilson's quarterback rate, like QBR throwing to Lockett, is exceptional.
And I mean, everybody's went gaga over Metcalf last year, and with reason. But if you're looking at what they did from a fantasy perspective last year, DK Metcalf was wide receiver 7, and Tyler Lockett was wide receiver 8. Tyler Lockett was right there. He just didn't show the consistency. He had boom weeks and then bust weeks and then boom weeks and then bust weeks, much like he's had this season. But he's been on a consistent stretch, whereas now it's DK Metcalf who has had those boom weeks, bust weeks. More recently,
and
bust
Metcalf was the one last year who popped like for the first half of the season, and then
faded down the stretch.
He was like a wide receiver, like low end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3 in the second half of the year. He killed people at the end of the season. I'll say Lockett.
And by how much?
I mean, we're splitting hairs. It's a bad offense right now that's hard to trust.
I would say both are
Russell Wilson's not playing
both are boom
well.
Bust right now. Lockett is less so as it stands right now at this moment.
Feels a little safer, but
both are boom bust. What would you say? Wide receiver 2s?
Sure.
Yeah, both are boom bust wide receiver 2s. Edge to Lockett right now.
Yeah.
He's not old. He has the most rapport of any player on that offense right now with Russell Wilson long term, because he's played with Russell Wilson long term. So yeah, lock it. Yep. And it's hard for me because I love Metcalf so much. Got him on one of my most important dynasty leagues. But lock it. E-Lout, what's good, bro?
What's up, E-Lout?
Tim Shields, it was 3 receiver, 2 back, and a
okay,
flex
so
play.
you can so you don't have to bench Metcalf, but yeah, I mean, obviously, let's see what happens with Henderson this week.
But
go
you
from
can
there.
still
But
you can still sit.
you
Kyle
can still
Pitts
bench
and,
Pitts,
and it's not a. I don't think that's a loss for you.
As far as your defense, Miami or Arizona, I know Arizona is on the road against Chicago because we were just talking about David Montgomery. Miami gets the Giants at home.
Miami.
Yeah, I mean, they've been pretty good recently. They had an out-of-body experience against Cam and the Panthers. Well, Cam had an out-of-body experience of being atrociously bad on Sunday. But Daniel Jones is absolutely prone to bad games, and the Giants' offense is sputtering right now. Arizona on the road in Chicago is still enticing because Arizona is a really good defense, and they're coming out of their bye week, so I'm not as concerned about the fact that they are playing on the road. Justin Fields being back or a statue Andy Dalton, I still like Arizona's chances. Like Justin Fields just being a rookie, even though he was coming on before the injury.
I'm going Miami.
In that scenario, I guess a slight edge to Miami. I don't know. I might. That's tough. That feels like it's closer to a coin flip just because Arizona is just the better unit. Miami at home against the Giants is definitely enticing, though, because the Giants' offense is bad. The Giants' offense is bad, and Daniel Jones is
bad,
plenty prone to making mistakes.
Yep.
But we can't expect this 3 or 4 interception game again. They hold the Giants till whatever it was.
They've been getting takeaways. They've been getting takeaways all year, dating back to last year. Xavier Howard is still one of the better cornerbacks in the league. And I kind of crapped on the Miami defense, saying there's no way they could keep this up. There's no way they're anywhere as good as earlier this year. And they've done nothing but continue to be decent at worst. So, yeah, I'm rolling Miami here. Even though on paper Arizona's defense is better, I like the matchup. I like that they're playing at home, and I like that Miami's defense is opportunistic.
Sure.
Yep.
All right, slight edge to Miami.
E-Lout, how do you guys feel about Fournette rest of season? Great.
Phenomenal.
I've been wanting to trade him, but he keeps just scoring points like a madman. Yeah.
No, you're just keeping him. There's no reason to trade Fournette.
He's not super old. He plays on.
He's
one
not
going to
get 4 touchdowns again, but I mean, give me Tom Brady's RB1.
He's been one of the best values at running back all season.
0 RB godsend, like William just said.
Yep. Yeah. William Risky, you're exactly on point. You're on point.
Yeah, he if you went 0 RB and took Fournette, you're currently winning.
Yeah.
You're currently winning.
Yep. Colts also should have been a tough matchup. I mean, yeah, they should have by the numbers, but it doesn't matter when you're playing in such a high octane offense and there are no other running backs of note that are consistently taking work away from you.
Yep.
Then the PPR work that Leonard Fournette has been getting lately is almost unrivaled. So yeah, I love Fournette. I tried to get him right before my deadline ended. I hit up the owner. He never got back to me. But I tried to buy Fournette as a contender. And honestly, I'm kind of salty. He never got back to me. So whatever, man.
Yeah,
I wanted Fournette on my team. So I don't hate that you just have continued to hold him on yours. I think you should. I don't think you should be trading him right now. I don't think if you're a contender, you should be trying to trade Fournette. Fournette is a solid bet rest of season. Like William Risky says, 0 RB got sent.
Yep.
She'd one hope that helps. Xavier, yeah, man, Lamau will. Yeah. Yeah. That was a good comment, Will.
Lamau.
Lamau. AB, what's going on? What's
up, AB?
Justin, what's happening? Zeke, Pollard, Fournette, Henderson, Madison. What 3 would you play?
Fournette, Madison,
and if Zeke is playing.
If Zeke is in, you got to play Zeke.
If Zeke ain't in, Pollard. Henderson, we kind of got it. We're in wait and see mode at this point.
We're in wait and see mode on him, and since then, and I got Fournette easily over him, Madison easily over him, and then it's Zeke if he's healthy, Zeke if he goes, Pollard if he doesn't. Yeah.
Yep.
Henderson's got a great matchup this week, but he is the diciest.
Xavier agrees. Madison and Fournette.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks for helping in the chat, man. Yeah.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, everybody in here. If you're in here and somebody's got a question in the chat, don't wait for us to answer it. Yeah. Throw it in there.
Yep.
Thanks, Xavier. Slim 74 was popping, bro. Chris Davis
Chris
behind
Evans.
Madison. Chris Evans, yeah. No, he's there,
right.
And he looked good earlier in the season.
He's not the direct handcuff though. That's P. Ryan.
And we saw Perrine last year when Mixon went down take a fair amount of work, and that was with Gio there.
Yup.
So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
Would you be dropping Jeff Wilson for Sony Michel? Considering everything that we know about both situations?
Sure. Well, maybe it's kind of a lateral move.
I mean, you're jumping from injured back what was considered to be an injured backfield to a currently injured backfield.
I would because yes, Debo is hurt, but Elijah Mitchell's still the guy there. If Darrell Henderson is hurt, Michelle becomes the guy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah. So yeah, I would do that. I would do that. If I could only have one, I'd rather have Sony.
Yeah, it's not quite as lateral as you would think when you dig into what's going on.
Yeah, I guess not given the circumstances, I guess.
So Eduardo, yeah, man, I think I'd do that.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us. Juan Osario, what's going on? Ayuk or Claypool?
Ooh. This is a little tougher.
Ayuk. With no Debo, I'm going Ayuk.
Yeah.
That's the deciding factor for me. No Debo, I'm going Ayuk because he's the wide receiver 1 there by default. And the wide receiver 1 for Jimmy Garoppolo has been productive this season. And it hasn't been like Kittle's been lighting it on fire.
Yeah, Ayuk might see a much higher target share.
And who's San Fran playing next week?
Seattle. Claypool gets the Ravens.
Ayuk, easy for me, man. Right?
Yeah, I mean, with no Debo, Ayuk should see a lot more work. So, yeah, Ayuk.
But thanks for the question, Juan. AB, who's a more worthwhile pickup, Chuba or Jamal Williams? I'm inclined to say Jamal Williams.
Williams, if you need to play this week.
Chuba, if you're rest of season.
I guess just because he should be the starter. Williams this week. Rest of season. Chuba's got the inside track to be the starter, but he's got brutal matchups.
I think I'm going Jamal Williams because, I mean, we saw the lead back in this offense, despite the fact that they were sputtering, give DeAndre Swift 33 rushes just a few weeks ago. and I think you chase that. If there's going to be one back active who's getting the majority of the work in Detroit, you go that way.
Yeah, I'll give a slight edge to Williams, but he might not be startable after this week.
True.
But Chuba might not be startable in any playoff matchup regardless, so. Plus, Chuba's on bye this week, so he doesn't help you.
Jamal Williams.
If you need a win this week, then obviously Williams. Rest of season, slight wash to be honest. But let's say DeAndre Swift gets shut down by the team, then Williams for sure.
Yes.
Tim, I feel like I screwed you on that one because I was the one saying I said Cam over Stafford. Damn it.
I mean, I would have.
Cam had one of the worst performances I've ever seen in my life. That was brutal, and killed a lot of people. And I know I advocated for Cam this week.
He looked decent early on because he got that long bomb to DJ Moore.
He had one,
and then it all fell apart, and he was consistently sailing balls over people's heads. I feel like he was trying to buck the narrative that he can't throw deep, which was the narrative coming out of the first game, and I believe he proved that. He had one deep shot that worked out at the beginning of the game, and then it didn't work out for the rest of the game. And now Cam Newton is without Christian McCaffrey, his best weapon on offense.
Right.
It doesn't look good for Cam Newton. It doesn't look good for the Carolina Panthers. And I was advocating starting Cam 2 over Stafford.
I like the rushing upside.
So yeah, man, sorry we led you astray last week. But if you got any questions for this week and you still trust us, throw another question out there, and hopefully we can lead you in the right direction. Outside of what you already threw in there, yeah.
The DK, the lineup, all that.
Yeah. And yeah, man, I was counting on DK in that last matchup. I had 5 points in between me and the person I was playing. I had DK, he had Lockett, and I thought I had a chance. But I did not. So I feel your pain, Tim. I feel your pain. Elias, you put in a bet for Perrine? Awesome. And hey, we're glad that we could help.
There you go.
Yes, you should hold Jeff Wilson in case your Mitchell gets hurt.
If you have Mitchell, then yes.
Yes.
If you have Mitchell and Wilson, then Wilson is a hold.
Same principle as Perrine. You just want to make sure you're safe for the playoffs so that you're not scrambling at the running back spot, because I mean, your running backs are your horses. Your running backs should be getting you a steady at least 10 points is what you're hoping for.
Yeah, that's your lifeblood.
Yeah, that's those are the guys that help you hit your floors.
Yep.
So yeah, I like that. Handcuff up, Elias.
Yes, sir.
Richie, thanks for joining us. Start 2. David Montgomery, Javonte Williams, Van Jefferson. Question mark PPR.
Van Jefferson is such a big play threat and is really emerging.
He is.
But I'm starting those 2 running backs.
Yeah, because both of those running backs get PPR work. Javonte Williams, again, led the Denver Broncos in receiving last week. And David Montgomery is basically outside of Darnell Mooney the entire Bears offense. Van Jefferson is a very nice piece in usually a high-octane offense. But as it stands right now, he is the third option.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. David Montgomery and Javonte Williams there, bro.
Yep.
And any playoff defense recommendations?
Rico. Well, the Eagles.
The Eagles are one.
If they're out there.
If anybody's stupid like I was a few weeks ago and drops the New England defense because they're coming up against a bye week soon and 2 matchups against the Bills and 1 matchup against Jonathan Taylor and the Colts.
Yeah,
they're Eagles, a defensive recommendation because they played the Jaguars in week 17 and they've been the best fantasy defense by far the entire year.
They've been strong.
So I would continue to roll out New England if anybody's stupid enough to drop them. But Philadelphia, you were about to say something about Philly, so go for it.
The Eagles stick out given their schedule. I mean, did anybody drop Miami? They get the Giants this week. They go on bye, but then they get the Jets the first week of the playoffs. They play the Saints in the semifinals, so you're going to want to pivot off of them. But at least for that first round, you would get them at home against the Jets. That's pretty good.
Did anybody drop Dallas?
Yeah, somebody might have dropped Dallas.
Because, I mean, same principle. They're playing divisional games.
They're playing Washington
at the end of the year, and they can they're a defense that can capitalize.
Yeah.
Honestly, those are my two.
Excuse me, trying to see
Eagles,
who else.
Dallas, Eagles, Cowboys are my two.
Eagles are a good one. They get the Jets, they get Washington, they get the Giants again, I think. Or
Miami is plays a favorable in favorable matchups rest of season as well.
Next couple of weeks at least. Anyway, they get the oh my god. They get the Giants this week. They get the Jets week 15, first week of the playoffs, coming off a bye week. So that's pretty favorable.
Rico, why don't you let us know who you got to choose from?
Yeah.
Let us know who are the top, 2 to 3 by point or whatever that you're looking at, and throw it in the chat, and we'll help you decide in between them. Because we could go on for a while just listing teams and their defenses, but but we want to help you out. So put in who you're thinking of, who you can get, and we'll help you make a decision there. Elout, hey, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, and I hope you get into the playoffs too. And Uncle Lenny will help. He's
been killing it for people who put faith in him all year long.
And Kamara and Jones can help him out a lot. Yeah, hey man, you got a good running back core.
I think I have one best ball team where I have Leonard Fournette, like a playoff team that looks to be headed to the playoffs. So I'm hoping I can benefit from that one a little bit.
Hope you do. Oh damn. You only like DK with Geno? Oh man.
That's fair.
It's fair.
That's fair.
It's just they can't believe we're there. On a 23-year-old phenom. But yeah, man. I like DK a lot, or DK a lot more with Geno, at least from a box score perspective at the end of games. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. DK's in nearly every scenario, DK probably is still in starting lineups, but he's one of those players now where there's no way you can feel good about him.
Honestly, he's become Lockett.
Yeah, except I feel better about Lockett right now.
Yeah, but the narrative on Lockett was always, I don't know how I feel about him playing even as a wide receiver 3, because yeah, he can get you 40 points, 30 points, but he can also get you 3 points, 4 points. And that's become what DK is, where their narrative on him was that he could get you 2 catches, 3 catches. They'd be long bombs. One of them would be for a touchdown. So yeah, man, DK is it's a hard person to be rostering right now because
trust him.
I'm so high on him, yet I am low on him.
Yeah, can't trust him.
Can't trust Seattle.
No, you can trust the running backs that are going against them. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Hey, you couldn't trust Alex Collins again this week. DJ Dallas is a better running back than Alex Collins for the second week in a row.
Yeah, can't trust Collins.
William Risky picked 2 this week. James Conner, Cordarrelle Patterson, David Montgomery, or James Robinson.
Patterson first.
Patterson for sure.
And then I don't think I can come off of Conner. All he's done is scored touchdowns this year.
Especially with Kyler Murray back.
If Kyler Murray is back, I feel even better about that. I don't think I haven't seen anything on the status of Chase Edmonds. Not that it might not even matter. Still on injured reserve. He has. Okay, sorry. So he has missed 2 games. He's guaranteed to miss at least 1 more game because he's on
Cordero
IR.
and James Conner.
Yeah, I don't like sitting David Montgomery. I don't like that I have to sit 2 of these guys at all. But Connor has played his way into an RB1 role, and so has Patterson. See, this is the volatility of drafting running backs, man. Like, you drafted Montgomery and J-Rob to be 2 horses for you. And then
now you're starting your the guys that you drafted
starting probably an 11th or 12th
round.
round draft pick and a waiver wire pickup.
Yeah, but you're probably winning if you've been starting them all season.
Probably.
So,
man, this is yet again another good year for 0 RB.
James Conner, Cordero Patterson, man, go for it.
I need to change my strategy.
Shay, man, I've gone 0 RB for a long time, and I never had.
I've gone 0 RB before, and I've seen it. Blow up in my face.
This is an outlier year. I don't think
it's the nature of the beast. And I think it was a somewhat good year. Well, James Robinson gave you a great 0 RB last year too.
Yeah, but there was one of those guys. I feel like there's been like 4 or 5 of those guys this year.
Who popped like out of nowhere last year?
Mike Davis and James Robinson were the guys. Those were it. There were 2 of them.
Yeah.
This year it's been James Conner, Cordero Patterson, Elijah Mitchell.
Gibson was mini 0 RB last year. He was like a 6th or 7th, 5th, 6th round pick. Mini. Modified. Sorry. That's the official term.
This
modified
year you got
0 RB.
I mean, Devonta Freeman and Devontae Booker were like really good for like 10 weeks.
Darrell Williams has been popping without
man, this year has been crazy.
It plays to the notion of like running backs get hurt. I saw a lot in best balls. Travis Kelce was a lot of people's 1st round pick, and you're feeling much better about your team right now.
Yeah, he was my first round pick.
If you drafted Travis Kelce instead of if you drafted Travis Kelce over like Saquon, or I know like obviously he was on a tear to start the season, but you're not gonna have Derrick Henry for the rest of the year. Christian McCaffrey. If you had taken Kelce over Christian McCaffrey, you feel better about that right now. How crazy does that sound?
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
Hey, man, in the offseason, we're going to have to talk about how people are going to be reactionary to what happened this year and how to capitalize on it come next season.
How to counter it.
We'll get there in the offseason.
How to zig when other people zag.
Yeah, yep. But William Risky, James Conner, and Cordero Patterson, we think those guys are safe. Rico Baptiste, Logan Thomas, or TJ Hawkinson for the playoffs. I don't feel good about Hawkinson.
If there's no DeAndre Swift,
I don't feel good about Hawkinson, man. The narratives for Hawkinson have been in his favor for the past 6 games, and he's done nothing with them.
He came back to life a little bit again the past 2 weeks. 3 for 35 and a touchdown, and then he caught 6 for 51. Not bad. Not great. Not
bad, but
Week 15 against Arizona, you don't feel great about that. Week 16 against Atlanta, by the numbers, is not great, but that doesn't scare me. Week 17, guess who Hawkinson gets? Seattle. I'll say Hawkinson. A slight edge. Logan Thomas is looking like a strong option. I'll say Hawkinson just because the target share should remain heavily in his favor.
I don't feel.
I'll say Hawk.
It's closer than it should be for a player coming off of IR who only got 3 for 31 last week. It's closer than I would think for Hawkinson and Logan Thomas if I were to look at those guys coming into the season. But I think I got to go Hawkinson. But I don't feel great about it. Because there are tight ends that have jumped both of those guys.
Yeah, but I'll give the slight edge to Hawkinson for now.
I'll give the slight edge to Hawkinson. He's been healthy pretty much all season, and Logan Thomas has to reintegrate himself into the offense. Yeah, Hawkinson.
Slight edge to Hawk.
Because there's a chance he becomes the team's #1 passing down option again. and Josh Reynolds kind of fades at the end of the season. There's a chance for that to happen, whereas there's no chance that Terry McLaurin fades in favor of Logan Thomas down the stretch. So Hawkinson.
No.
Hawkinson. And in another league, William Risky pick 2 PPR, Fournette, James Robinson, Elijah Mitchell.
Fournette and Mitchell. Mitchell's
Fournette
playing
and
Seattle.
Mitchell's playing Seattle. Yep. Fournette and Mitchell.
Layup.
Yep.
Running backs against Seattle are a layup. So if you have Elijah Mitchell this week, play Elijah Mitchell. And for like Fournette, let's ride this wave. He's not going to get 4 touchdowns again, but
hey, the week prior he got like 8 targets. So like,
he's doing it a multitude of ways.
Yeah.
Fournette and Mitchell.
I wish I had Fournette on my teams. God damn.
But
yeah, Elijah Mitchell, Fournette. I like that tandem. William. Mitchell, Ben Kufsky, what's going on? I'm out of the playoffs. Oh man, sorry to hear that. 12-team Superflex half PPR. You have Zeke, Pollard, and was debating trading for Christian McCaffrey. I would not trade for Christian McCaffrey right now. If I'm a Christian McCaffrey owner, I'm trying to get
What's this,
out
a keeper league? What's this? Yeah, like what are the parameters? Like what do you like? That's my. I mean, I agree, but I'm just curious. What are the details here? Like, give me a little. Give me a little bit more context, Mitchell. Like, I say no. Because Christian McCaffrey is unreliable at this point, and Tony Pollard, I think, is the better talent than Ezekiel Elliott is right now, today. And I think next year Pollard has a chance to leapfrog Zeke. Jerry Jones.
We need to have a little bit of a discussion.
Contract.
We need to have a little bit of a discussion about CMC, because I can't remember a back in recent memory who was as good and as utilized as Christian McCaffrey was early in his career, and then has sustained and continued to sustain the amount of injuries that he has over the past 2 seasons. I can't think of a back that compares to that.
Todd Gurley.
But then has gone on to like have successful seasons after the 2+ years of injuries.
Oh, it's dynasty. Yeah, Mitchell. That makes it even easier for me. Absolutely not. No, Christian McCaffrey is damaged goods. They're like his. I wouldn't trade for him for anything other than spare parts, which the McCaffrey owner is highly unlikely to do. I'm keeping Pollard. There's no doubt. There's not even a sliver of doubt in my mind. I'm keeping Pollard. I see you have 4 first-round picks this year and next. Those are significantly more valuable than Christian McCaffrey. Sounds like you're in a bit of a rebuild mode. Stay far away. Stay far away from Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. I wouldn't even do Zeke for Christian McCaffrey straight up.
No, I know that there's an age disparity between the two, and Christian McCaffrey wins in that regard, but Zeke
did you see CMC end up pick for Zeke? I'm asking.
If you had Zeke and you're trying to trade off of Zeke to get
I'm
Christian
keeping
McCaffrey.
Pollard. I'm keeping Pollard. There's no doubt.
No, because I think you can get a not more for Zeke than a pick in a descending player in Christian McCaffrey, who's more name recognition right now than fantasy production. You made a Twitter post that caught fire on Sunday. You posted something to the effect of, correct me if I'm wrong, is Christian McCaffrey anything more than a late 2nd round pick in redraft leagues?
Mm-hmm.
And
the few people that responded were all saying like no, and they wouldn't draft him in the 1st round again. Yeah, I'm not. I don't want
in a dynasty league. I'm not trading for Christian McCaffrey. You have to give up way more based on name recognition than what I think you'd be getting in terms of fantasy production moving forward. If health was taken out of the question and we're looking solely on talent, Christian McCaffrey is still one of the most talented backs in the league. But the fact that he can't stay healthy is the biggest of red flags.
Yep.
He can't even last a 2-game stretch anymore, and this is 2 seasons in a row. And they just drafted a running back who was one of the most athletic running backs in the draft in Chuba Hubbard. Now, I know he fell due to his production falling after him getting injured in college. But no, I'm not trading for Christian McCaffrey in Dynasty.
No shot.
If you are rebuilding and you have Zeke, I am very comfortable moving off of Zeke, especially if you have Pollard. And I would be trying to trade Zeke for a pick and an ascending player, if not more.
Yeah, send Zeke to a contender for.
But I would not be
more.
trying to trade for Christian McCaffrey. If anything, I'm trying to trade for Chuba Hubbard. And even then, I think you can get a better
even then, I don't want to
ascending
do that
player.
because I feel
Even
like
then,
Carolina might just draft a back.
Yeah, I think even then you're. I don't know if they're drafting a back. Have you seen Christian McCaffrey's contract?
True. True.
I think he signed there.
It's an albatross.
Through
it's an albatross at this
for
point.
the next 4 years, and the team can't get rid of him for the next 4 years.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm all the way off.
It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
I'm all the way off.
If you had Christian McCaffrey, you should have traded him right when he got back. After that first game, he came back and looked decent.
Probably.
You should have just been like, all right, now's my chance to excel.
Probably.
But I'm not trading for him in any format. But thanks for your question, Mitchell. And Johnny Cause, hey, thank you so much for the super, man. Appreciate it. PPR lost Derrick Henry, Dak, Jefferson, Lockett, Robinson, Madison, Gesicki, Mitchell, bench Javonte, Ty Johnson, LaDainian Tomlinson. LT.
Who's LT? Logan Thomas. That's got to be Logan Thomas.
Renfro. Who would you guys swap for a good waiver ad and need to make the playoffs? Who's the waiver ad?
Yeah, who are we looking at here to potentially pick up? Because this is a pretty good looking squad. I mean, I guess
you need a wide receiver. I would think you got Jefferson and Lockett, and then
Ty Johnson is the drop.
James Robinson, Alexander Madison, Gesicki, Elijah Mitchell.
Ty Johnson is your
Ty Johnson
drop.
is the drop.
That's who your drop is. And guess what? If you haven't already dropped Derrick Henry, he's also a drop. If you need to make the playoffs,
unless
if you need to make the playoffs, like we're not relying on Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's chances of returning for the NFL regular season, aka the fantasy playoffs. Yeah, right, like 1% of 1%.
Even less, I would think.
Fine. The point is, we're not banking. We're not going to have Derrick Henry for the fantasy playoffs.
The only situation in which I'm keeping Derrick Henry on my team is if I have an IR spot in which I can stash him.
But if I need the IR spot, I'm dropping Derrick Henry. But of the healthy guys,
I'm dropping
Ty
Johnson to get a wide receiver.
Tevin friggin' Coleman, 15 carries. I think he had a couple of targets. I don't know if he caught either one of them.
I don't even want to talk about that.
Well, it's gross. And so
but you got James Robinson, you got Alexander Madison, you got Elijah Mitchell, you got Javonte Williams. You got
Mitchell and Madison are your starters this week.
Yeah, you got good running back depth. You got a TE1 and a TE1 on your bench.
Mooney. Okay, so Mooney probably getting snagged. Damn, Ty Johnson for Mooney. So, any of them, Bateman or Van Jefferson. I'd put in. Hey, he might get snagged before you, but I'd still put in a waiver for Mooney. Put the claim in for Mooney anyway. Right. Yeah, weirder things have happened. All it takes is somebody not paying attention, right? Mooney would be number one. I'll say Bateman number two. Better days are ahead for Lamar. Bateman number two, yeah. Better days ahead for Lamar Jackson. Not going to have 4 interception games again. And Bateman, prior to these past couple of games, and I don't count the week 11 game where Lamar didn't play, Bateman was rock solid. Although Van Jefferson is really trending up these past couple of weeks himself. But regardless, Ty Johnson is your clear drop. This past week, Van Jefferson popped 3 for 93. But even before that, 3 for 54 on 7 targets, 3 for 41 on 7 targets, 3 for 88 on 6 targets. And then the game before that, he had 4 for 43 and a touchdown. So we're talking for Van Jefferson, we're talking 5 games in a row where he had at least 6 targets. He had over 40 yards receiving in all of them, and he scored twice. Just saying. Van Jefferson's nice, man. I really like him moving forward. Bateman is higher on the depth chart, but also is he? Because like it's Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown in the pecking order for the Ravens, followed by Bateman. I guess Bateman's technically higher up because the Rams have Kupp, Higbee, and Odell in addition to Van Jefferson. And
Odell finally looks like he's integrated.
Odell
into that
came back to
and
life.
knows the playbook a little bit. Yeah.
Odell came back to life. I would say, oh man, I might say a slight edge to Van. All of a sudden, this production can't be ignored. Jacksonville this week, Arizona next week is tough, but week 15, Seattle, they stink. Minnesota week 16 in the semifinals, they're giving up tons of points to wide receivers.
Seattle stinks. Are they gonna need to air it out a ton to beat Seattle?
Well, it's a division game for the Rams. They're going to want to make sure they take care of business, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and Chuba Jamal. Okay, and he just
yeah, I think with your squad right now, you got 3 wide receivers, and you have more. You have 4 good backs. I would get, and that's without Ty Johnson.
Robinson,
I would try to equalize your roster, get 4 good backs on your squad, 4 good wide receivers on your squad, and it allows you to play the matchups a little bit and just gives you a little bit more security than you having 5 backs on your squad again, of which you can only play 2 at a time. I think you gotta, if you're trying to win to make the playoffs, you need to maximize what you got and prepare yourself to get to the playoffs. And once you're in there, you want to stay in. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate it.
Super generous. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes. Chuba, given your situation, Chuba's not a priority ad. His playoff schedule is absolutely brutal. Jamal Williams is a very interesting for 1-game fill-in, but after that, it's
you don't need a 1-game fill-in.
We don't know.
I'd be playing Madison and Mitchell over him this week.
Hilliard looks good, but also Donta Foreman went over 100 yards as well in this past game. So that's like a musical chairs backfield right now that feels way more difficult to predict on a week-to-week basis. Good for Dontrell Hilliard, happy for him, but Foreman is going nowhere. He had 100 again. He had 100 yards from scrimmage in his own right. I think it's tough. I like Bateman and I like Van Jefferson. Mooney's number 1. If you can get Mooney, Mooney's number 1. But if you can't get Mooney and Mooney it gets snagged as you expect, then it's between Bateman or Van Jefferson. Bateman is probably a little higher in the pecking order as far as the Ravens pass catchers, but Van Jefferson, maybe it's fair to say, more explosive and more attached to the high-octane passing attack.
And
based on that,
because you have Renfro as a very safe, productive option,
Van Jefferson,
I think I'm willing more to go Van Jefferson because he does offer a little bit more explosive upside. So I would, again, if you're looking for balance on your roster, so equilibrium on your roster, I'm trying to get Van Jefferson here. But if you put in a claim for Van Jefferson, I would put in a claim for all 3 of those guys. It would go Mooney first, Jefferson second, Bateman third, just Mooney, so you get Bateman. One of those guys. I don't feel bad about any of those guys. But with the team that you have right now, Mooney and Jefferson would be 1 and 2 for me. And it's really close between Van Jefferson and Bateman, but looking at the makeup of your roster right now and what you have on your bench, and considering the fact that you need to make a play to win to make the playoffs, you're shooting for upside. And Van Jefferson right now is offering more upside than Bateman.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I would go, and I think Nick agrees with me.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Yep.
My stupid camera keeps going in and out. Sorry about that.
But thank you very much, Johnny Cause.
Yeah, Johnny, appreciate that. You're too kind. But hopefully that helps.
And if you got any other questions, anything else
So
you
let's
wanna
get this. Let's get this must win. But
Yeah.
for the and for this week, just all I ask is make sure Elijah Mitchell's in your starting lineup because he's playing Seattle and Madison.
Yes.
Those are your backs.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, appreciate it. Hopefully that helps, Johnny.
Rico Baptiste, thoughts on Hilliard rest of season?
I
got a video coming out on this. If not tonight, tomorrow.
Oh yeah, John's putting a video out on him.
Basically,
so
where did Hilliard come from, and what can we expect from him moving forward?
Okay, well, that's good. But really, all I'll say is he busted off a long touchdown run last week in a tough matchup, and that was really cool to see. Yeah, really cool to see. Good for him. Like, happy for a guy like Hilliard. Donta Foreman also went over 100 yards from scrimmage. So this backfield is going to be hard to predict on a week-to-week basis. All week, and then I'm done because I know, John, you got a video coming out on this. All week it was Donta Foreman is expected to see the bulk of carries, and then like going into the game on Sunday, it was like Dontrell Hilliard's going to actually be the RB1, and then Dontrell Hilliard took the opening kickoff, and everybody was like, oh boy, it's Foreman time. But then Hilliard turned out to be the starting running back anyway. And then, oh, by the way, they both went over 100 yards from scrimmage. So they both might be viable. Maybe one might be viable. This is a musical chairs backfield right now that's kind of difficult to predict.
What I will say is just a week ago, Hilliard came off the practice squad to be activated and caught 8 passes.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, last game, he had like 131 yards on 12 rushes and had that 63-yard touchdown. Great work on the run on the ground, and that bodes well for him as somebody who can do both things, catch and run. But regardless of the narrative they're rolling, or regardless of Donta Foreman being the number one right now, I like Dontrell Hilliard. Oh, I heard another ding. Johnny, Johnny Cause, thank you again, man.
You crazy, bro.
Thank you again, man. Let me finish this Dontrell Hilliard thought, and then we'll get to your question on Ertz. And I'll wrap this up. Dontrell Hilliard has rushing upside and pass catching upside. The team doesn't have any pass catchers. They cut Josh Reynolds, who's now the Detroit Lions' #1 wide receiver, and A.J. Brown and Julio Jones can't be trusted. Anthony Ferguson and Jeff Swaim are in and out of the lineup, and they're relying on Dez Fitzpatrick, a rookie that they cut before the season began. Chester Rogers, a journeyman 27-year-old who's never gotten it done in anywhere he's been in the NFL. And there was one more wide receiver there, Nick Westbrook-Akine, who scored a touchdown last week. Who had a
decent game. He scored a touchdown.
But, I mean, they're going to be relying on Golden Tate pretty soon. This is a team that needs pass catchers. Dontrell Hilliard, regardless of what he did on the ground, should be a consistent threat through the air for the rest of the season. So I kind of like Dontrell Hilliard as at least a flex RB3 play for the rest of the year.
There you go.
So I will say that.
There you go.
I like Dontrell Hilliard.
I'm a little more, I guess I'm a little more wary about, who's going to be the hot hand on any given week in this backfield, but you raised some interesting points.
Hey, even if Donta Foreman's the hot hand on the ground, Dontrell Hilliard can get you 8 targets, 8 catches.
Yeah, true.
So I like that dual threat ability there. But those are my thoughts and our thoughts on Hilliard rest of season. Let's get to Johnny Cause. Thank you again, Johnny. Ertz is on waivers too. Should I drop Gesicki or Logan Thomas for him?
I think no.
I would not.
I think no. It's tough because Ertz popped the last game, but also that was with Colt McCoy. And, in theory, Kyler Murray coming back is an upgrade over Colt McCoy. But if we get a healthy DeAndre Hopkins back, if we eventually get a healthy Chase Edmonds back, the target share is gonna broaden a little bit more in Arizona's offense. Plus, Kyler's gonna vulture production by running around. Gesicki is is he still like a top 4 or 5 tight end on the season?
Actually, let me say this. 2021 weeks 1 through week 12.
All right.
In half PPR, Mike Gesicki, tight end 7.
Yup.
Zach Ertz, tight end 9. Mike Gesicki, 99 fantasy points on the season in half PPR. Zach Ertz, 96.2. They are not far from each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a tougher question than initially.
I think with Logan Thomas coming back, I'm not dying to drop him just because there's nobody else in Washington outside of Terry McLaurin. Like DeAndre Carter has had a nice season, or has had a nice couple of games. Cam Sims, I think, has caught a touchdown here and there. Logan Thomas just got back and has been paid. He got paid. They're going to want to feature him. I don't want to drop Logan Thomas, especially if maybe he was a recent pickup. He should have had a touchdown this past week or last night. Should have had a touchdown. So that's all. I mean, I don't want to drop Logan Thomas.
I don't think Ertz is a bad waiver ad, but I think I would stand pat as well.
I think
especially considering you're already burning one waiver claim. Like you're
right. We're already prioritizing one wide receiver. Like, is Ertz gonna? Because Ertz has been pretty rock solid, but he had a boom game week 11. And outside of that, it's been there's been decent production. Also, a lot of that came while I was with the Eagles. So the landscape changed a little bit. When did he get traded? He got traded after week 6. He had a huge game week 7.
Since week 6, from Houston. Week 6 to week 12, he's the tight end 3. Zach Ertz. Right.
But a lot of that is on the back of one game.
Yes.
A lot of that is on the back of one game against, you guessed it, this is my favorite punching bag this show, Seattle. I'm not necessarily banking on that.
Yeah, he's had 2 big games since week 6. He had
I'm keeping
Houston
Gesicki and
Houston.
Thomas. I'm rolling the dice. I'm keeping Gesicki and Thomas. Sorry, and then you finish your point.
No, I agree. I just want to back that up with some numbers here. In week 7, he had 13 points. In week 8, 4.2 points. In week 9, 2.7 points. In week 10, 4.6 points. In week 11, 20.8 points. So in 2 weeks, he's basically turned him. He made his case for tight end 1 over the course of the last 6 weeks. One of those games was against Houston, and one of those games was against Seattle. 2 terrible defenses. So I don't know if, despite the fact that over the last 6 games, Zach Ertz is the tight end 3, I don't know if I'm chasing that.
The only thing with Gesicki, and I made the point about, and then this will be the last thing I say, but ultimately I think I'm holding Gesicki. They're kind of both in the same situation because of the point of, well, DeAndre Hopkins could come back for Arizona. Chase Edmonds could come back for Arizona. Devontae Parker could come back for Miami. Maybe Will Fuller comes back for Miami. Not really. So the target share could expand a little bit,
I don't think that's happening.
I think I'm holding Gesicki and Logan Thomas. I think I'm holding them both, and I'll rock with one of those. I'll rock with one of those 2 on any given week.
And Alex Watts sending us €5. Thank you, bro.
Hey, appreciate
Thank you for
that,
the €5.
That's not
pounds?
the euro. That's
that
pound.
is pounds. I'm blind, so
That's the pound.
I'm blind.
I know my international.
Yo, thank you for signing on all the way from the UK.
Yeah, that's the pound. Bro, all the way from the UK. Yeah, the UK doesn't use the euro.
Yeah, they use pounds. I'm just blind. Sorry, Alex. Where in the UK you from, bro?
Take your sunglasses
I have to
off.
drop 2 wide receivers to free up roster floors. That's what it would take. So
well, it's time to drill. Get the toolbox out. But sorry for the lag, guys. Hopefully maybe it's just on our side. But anyway, I'm dropping Galladay. I have no confidence in the Giants' offense, Alex. I don't have that much confidence in the Broncos offense, but it's close. But I feel like Sutton has had a couple of usable games
early in the season.
Yeah. Whereas Galladay, what's Galladay done this year? Whole lot of nothing.
Nothing. He had
Whole
one
lot
game
of
of 15 points back in like week 4.
I mean, he gets some favorable matchups by the numbers. Galladay does weeks in the fantasy playoffs, weeks 15 and 17. But he's going to see. He's potentially going to see weeks 14 to 17. He's going to see potentially Asante Samuel Jr., who's having a nice rookie season, Trayvon Diggs, Darius Slay, who just shut his ass down, and then is Kyle Fuller still the cornerback 1 for the Bears?
I believe so.
I think Galladay, Alex. I have very little confidence in Sutton. I have even less confidence in Galladay.
Yeah, I have zero confidence in Galladay, and I was a Galladay trooper.
I don't have that much confidence in Sutton, but I have less confidence in Galladay.
All I will say about Sutton is if Drew Lock has to start a full game for a couple of games here,
then I feel good about Sutton. Yeah.
Drew Lock made Sutton 2 years ago.
Well, I'm not ready to go there.
He did. He was YOLOing balls all the way down the field, and Sutton was.
And Sutton was good enough to make the play.
Well.
Sutton's a damn good player. Yeah.
Yeah, out of those options, I'm dropping Galladay, Alex. But thank you.
I'm dropping Galladay.
Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the 5 not euros, pounds.
Yeah,
and let us know where in the UK you're from, bro.
Yeah. But we do have some questions all the way at the top, or up a little ways. So I want to get through a couple of these. So anybody who's still in here who had a question that we haven't gotten to yet, thanks for holding.
Yep.
But let's do this. We got to Rico's question about Hilliard. Tim, appreciate it. We're gonna right the ship this week. That's the plan.
Yep. And Rico, same thing, bro.
Yep. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Rico.
It.
Appreciate it.
King Lieno, what's going on? What's going on?
Ami, what's going on?
Come on, bro.
Hame, sorry. Richie, drop DJ Dallas for Boston Scott, Nyheim Hines, or Breida. Yeah, Breida. You could. You could. I guess I kind of feel like it's some lateral moves there, but DJ Dallas might be playing. DJ Dallas might just be the starter in Seattle. Alex Collins fumbled, right? Alex Collins fumbled. That's a great way to get in the doghouse if you're a running back. I don't know that I necessarily. I mean, Boston Scott might be good in a one game pinch if Miles Sanders has to miss. Breida looks like the running back to own in Buffalo. I put a video out about him following the Thanksgiving game.
And Spencer Brown,
Nyheim Hines.
They're one of their O-line. The most important person on the O-line is back, so that should be a boost to the Bills' offensive line
for Buffalo.
Yep, for Breida.
So that's good.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it almost. I hate to punt this back to you, Richie, but it's almost kind of personal preference. Like DJ might end up being the guy in Seattle. He outperformed Alex Collins 2 weeks in a row. Boston Scott looks like he could be a guy in a pinch. He fumbled, like he scored a touchdown, but he fumbled too against the Giants, a costly one at that. So that's not great. But obviously, he could get some work if Jordan Howard has to miss again, and if Miles Sanders has to miss a game because he left the Giants game banged up. Hines, I'm kind of on just because Jonathan Taylor's having the overall RB1 season this year.
Yes, sir.
Breida looks like the Bills back to own, but again, the Bills running backs it's hard to have a whole lot of confidence in any one of them individually with the way they run their offense. So all I'll say is DJ Dallas has a non-zero chance to just be the dude for Seattle rest of season.
He's been the more productive back over the past 2 weeks.
So I would just do with that what you
role.
will. I think I might just keep DJ. Yeah, I might just keep DJ.
Yeah.
Unless you need like a one-game spot start, Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard are out, then sure. But I think Jordan Howard is returning to practice. Double check that. But Rico, good to see that you have the Eagles and the Cowboys. That's good. Yeah, nothing on Jordan Howard. I would hold DJ for now. I think I would just do that. The rest of these guys, like, there's not a clear. That my answer kind of usually indicates, like, when I'm like blah on the other options, I'm just gonna keep what I already have because I think DJ's got an outside shot to just be the guy moving forward.
Yeah, he's catching passes, minimally used in the running game, but if he was to be used in the running game,
it might get more work
for him. I like holding on to DJ Dallas here, but if I am swerving, I'm going to Breida.
Sure. I did say earlier in the week that Breida was the back to own in Buffalo moving forward, and I agree with that. Like, over Boston Scott.
Yeah. Enrico, good moves. Good moves.
Yeah, good moves to get those guys. Eduardo. If AB and Hopkins are back this week, would you start them over Ayuk and Scary Terry?
Not Scary Terry.
Only start, if you can only start 2 of these 4, I mean, they might be in wait and see mode. Let's see how practice reports shake out. If I'm not convinced Hopkins returns at this point. Like, I need to see it to believe it. Let's see how things go in practice, Eduardo. Both of those guys have a long way to go. If they're if the practice reports are positive for both, they both return on Wednesday tomorrow. They're both looking good, full practice. Like, okay, fine, we can have a conversation, but let's see how practice shakes out first.
And I think I'm keeping Scary Terry in my lineup, bro.
I'm keeping Terry McLaurin in my lineup. Yeah. Anyway, what did he do last night? I missed a lot of that game, actually. I caught some of it, but
I don't think he hit a ceiling. But nobody did in that game.
Yeah, it was kind of a boring game. Well, guess what? He still had 4 for 51 on 7 targets. Like, Terry's just safe, if not rock solid.
Yep.
But anyway, let's see how practice shakes out this week, Eduardo. Bo Pucks. I like it. Chuba or Williams off the waiver wire. Need to win the next 2 weeks to possibly make playoffs. Well, if you need a win, then Jamal Williams, since Chuba's on bye.
Yep.
Jamal Williams should get the lion's share of work this week with DeAndre Swift expected to miss. That might not be the case in 2 weeks. But if you need a win this week, Chuba's not helping you this week. He might help you next week, but let's worry about next week. So Jamal Williams.
Yep.
Jamal Williams. And Mitchell, this was the conversation about Christian McCaffrey. Do not trade for Christian McCaffrey in Dynasty. And that goes for everybody. Don't trade for Christian McCaffrey.
You have Waller and Pat Fryer.
What's going on?
Should you go for Logan Thomas or Foster Moreau?
Ooh. Let's see. The Raiders get this week. Washington. Raiders get they play each other.
Foster Moreau, didn't he get like 6 catches and a touchdown for like 60 yards in the game where Waller
he filled in for Waller? Yes, that game. There's a caveat though. That game came against the Eagles, who give up the most points in the league to tight ends.
But this is a offense for the Raiders that they're passing to the tight end.
They're passing to Moreau because they're not throwing it to Brian Edwards.
And you have Waller, so as soon as Waller comes back, you're starting Waller. So is it crazy that I'm thinking of going Foster Moreau over Logan Thomas? Streaming
Moreau in a consolidated. I mean, they're both in situations where they're in a consolidated target share. There's only one other receiver on each roster that you can truly trust.
And
Terry for Washington.
Derek Carr's been a better quarterback than Taylor Henry.
He's been balling out. Derek Carr has been balling out. I'm okay with streaming Moreau.
I think I'm going Moreau because you have Waller, and it's as soon as I think I'm going Foster Moreau. It's a
my
lot.
Tab to points allowed to.
What's that?
I do too. I'm just complaining over here because I had a tab open to fantasy points allowed to tight ends, and now I can't find it.
And it's Washington and LV. They play each other?
They play each other.
Ooh, the Las Vegas Raiders give up 14.4 fantasy points to opposing tight ends, and the Washington football team gives up 10.2. So there's basically a 4.2 difference.
Close-ish.
In favor of playing Logan Thomas this week. And he just missed out on a touchdown.
Just missed out on a touchdown. I think I still stream Moreau.
This is really tough.
I think I still stream Moreau. Let's come back to this and see if we feel any different E11 over the weekend.
Both of those guys are good options.
There are any vibes that are...
Yeah, the fact that we haven't been able to decide yet means both those guys are good options based off of your circumstances. So let's get back to you.
Let's get back to you on that, right? Because Freiermuth is expected to, or looking not great with a concussion. So yeah, we got some stuff to sort out. Let's see how the week plays out. If any vibes change E11, or if there's anything that's noticeable, or I think I still slightly lean Moreau, but let's come back to this Saturday or Sunday. Let's take the week to think about it.
Theo Von Miller he might be trying to put in a waiver to get one of these guys. So let's come back to this at the end of the
if you need to pick one of them up, yeah, let us know. Is this do you need to pick one up tonight, E11? Because if yes, then I would go with Logan Thomas because he's a better rest of season option. Or actually, no. If you need to pick one up, you're banking on Waller coming back. So I would actually say I'm picking up Moreau. Sorry. If you need to pick one up tonight, if both of these dudes are on waivers and you need one, I'm going Moreau because you have Waller.
Yeah. And
like
Foster
Logan
Moreau,
Thomas.
RAS above 9. Foster Moreau.
Boom. Logan Thomas looks good rest of season, but you're hoping that Waller comes back, and you're not playing Logan Thomas over a healthy Darren Waller.
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and get Waller's direct back up.
Because when Waller comes back, you have the freedom to drop Foster Moreau, whereas Logan Thomas might be doing enough to where you don't feel comfortable dropping him outright, and then you're sitting there saddled with the three tight ends when you only need to start one.
Yep.
Foster Moreau.
Down with it.
Foster Moreau.
Down with it. Yep.
Theo Von Miller is... Yo, what's going on, Theo? What's going on, bro? Is
Theo?
A second and a third too much for Rondale Moore? In Dynasty? No, man.
Nah. Because AJ Green is going to be gone probably after this year. DeAndre Hopkins is a 30-year-old who, I hate to say it, but I think it's fair to say he might be on the downside with all these injuries he's dealing with. I don't think that's too much. I'd be looking for more for Rondale Moore. If I'm trading Rondale Moore, I'd be looking for more. So if you can get, if you asked for him and said, I'll give you in a second and a third, and the Rondale Moore owner said, deal, you're jumping at that.
Think of it this way. Hold on. We got another super. Thank you very much, Johnny Cause. You're doing it again.
He had some kind words I saw earlier in the chat about he went ahead and subscribed, so we appreciate that, Johnny. Thanks for the support.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can help.
Do you guys have must grab waiver ads or a top 3 list? Nick put out a waiver video earlier today. You can go check out. It's on our channel.
Yeah, for just this week, for week 13, I did throw a waiver video out there. It might not be if it's not helpful. Maybe all the guys are taken, or maybe maybe none of these guys don't fit your roster. I also forgot to throw Matt Breida in there. Whoops. Alexander Madison is the top ad this. So. Okay, Alexander Madison, if available, he might not be. If he is the top ad. If he's not, for a 1-game fill-in, Jamal Williams looks good this week. For at least like maybe week 14, Chuba Hubbard looks good, but I don't like his playoff schedule. Jamal Williams, my dog is like attacking the carpet, so wasn't sure what that noise was. So Alexander Madison, top ad if available. If he's not, Chuba Hubbard is a week 14 ad, but obviously he doesn't help you this week. Jamal Williams does. DeAndre Swift is looking like he's going to miss. And then like a Boston Scott, a Matt Breida, these guys look like decent ads. If Dontrell Hilliard is still out there, he might not be, but maybe somebody dropped Donta Foreman. Any one of those guys at running back could potentially help you this week. Oh, sorry. The Titans are also on bye, so they don't help you this week. Okay, so ignore that. Madison, Hubbard, Jamal Williams over Hubbard if he's available. And then like a Boston Scott. At wide receiver, I mean, Kendrick Bourne at this point looks like Mac Jones's go-to wide receiver. I doubt Van Jefferson is available, but if he is, he's a must-own. And then at tight end, I mentioned, we kind of just talked about Foster Moreau. He looks like a nice fill-in, with Darren Waller set to miss the game. Trying to think who else might be out there, who might be available, who can help you. I doubt Logan Thomas might still be out there. If you need like a rest of season play at tight end, Logan Thomas is absolutely viable. Trying to think who else, although in competitive leagues, Logan Thomas is probably taken. I'm trying to think who else might be out there. I mean, shoot, if you're desperate for a running back, Tevin freaking Coleman,
oh
barf.
My God, don't do it.
He got 18 touches. What do you want me to do? He got 18 touches this past week. What the hell am I supposed to do?
I don't care,
Tevin freaking Coleman. I mean, as a deep stash, like if a Kenyon Drake is out there, again, that's just to the point that Darren Waller's not going to. I'm just naming running backs now. Latavius Murray might be out there. J.D. McKissick got hurt, so if you're really looking for a deep play, Jarrett Patterson might get some run this week. So those are some guys. If this is a league where it's like, yeah, Madison's been owned forever and Hubbard's been owned forever, Boston Scott might get some work this week. Miles Sanders left the game against the Giants. Jordan Howard, his status is up in the air. So like maybe Boston Scott. I'm trying to think who else might be out there. I don't know. What the hell did Rex Burkhead do? Whole lot of
less
nothing.
Than
12 carries, 27 yards.
David Johnson. So
yeah, both of those guys stink. Like a deep play. Like I don't know if DJ Dallas is out there. Caught 5 passes last night. Yeah. If somebody dropped Jordan Howard, just thinking of the other Eagles running back who isn't Miles Sanders.
Yeah,
those are
all good guys to think about. Yep.
Those are some running backs, and then at
Coleman.
wide receiver, here's a wide receiver. You want a big play? Is Deshaun Jackson out there? We just got done talking about the Raiders and how the target share is consolidated. Brian Edwards it might be fair to say he's just not it. Deshaun Jackson, he's never going to get more than 5 targets in the game, but all he needs is one to catch a 75-yard touchdown.
I'm not ready to say that Brian Edwards is not it, but I know for a fact he is not a fit for that offense.
Deshaun?
Or Brian Edwards.
I got a guy at wide receiver. It's Houston week for Indianapolis. T.Y. Hilton always carves up the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Is T.Y. out there? Johnny, is T.Y. out there? If you need like a 1-game play for this week, damn, I forgot to put him in the video. T.Y. Hilton, if he's out there, it's Houston week. Go look at T.Y. Hilton's career numbers against Houston. That's all I'll say.
All right. I think that about does it. You covered pretty much half of the league.
I hope I covered a good amount there, Johnny. If there's anybody out there, or if you're like literally all those, my freaking camera, like all those dudes are owned and whatever, that wasn't helpful. Feel free to send us a list of guys, or like send us a few names that you might be looking at. We can try to break it down from there. But hopefully that helped in some way, some capacity.
All right, back to Theo's question about Rondale Moore. We'll wrap this up quickly so we can start moving down this list a little more. They're going to need to pay Kyler Murray pretty soon. And they already have an albatross of a deal out there for DeAndre Hopkins. So there's a chance that sooner than later, Rondale Moore could step in and be the wide receiver 1 for this team. Because they might have to get rid of in order to keep Kyler Murray. And Rondale Moore, I believe,
which they would do if they had to.
He has a breakout age of 18.4.
that's good.
Right at the top of the league. I think that's right there with Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins himself. I believe had a breakout age of 18.4. It's elite. It's elite. So I really like Rondale Moore. I would be asking for more than a second and a third for Rondale Moore. I think if somebody's like, give me a second and a third, I'd be like, here, give me Rondale.
Take it.
I'm
Take
really
it and run.
high on Rondale's future. He plays with one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And pretty soon, I mean, Zach Ertz is old. DeAndre Hopkins hasn't looked like himself.
That offense
coming off
is
an
old.
injury.
That offense is old.
AJ Green, old. I mean, it could be the Rondale Moore, Christian Kirk show before too long. Really could. So I like that trade. I like doing that.
I'm with it. I'm on board.
Caden Stelly, what's going on? What the heck do I do without CMC? Oh man.
You do what you've been doing.
The playoffs, yeah.
I mean, what's your alternative situation? What's your alternative situation with McCaffrey? I mean, without him, so is this a redraft league? I mean, you can obviously, if that's the case, he's an easy drop. I don't know, man. You stay the course. Let's put it this way: it's easy now. He's done for the year. You don't have to. You're like in the sense that you don't got to worry about it. You don't got to think about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
at least you know it's like I can move on. I guess.
That's not much of a consoling
Glass
fact,
half full.
but yeah, you just gotta roll with it.
It's the best
it
I
happens. You gotta try to make the best out of it. See if you can pick up anybody that can hold you over until the playoffs, or just get you through. Yeah, that's bad luck. But if you have any questions of who to pick up, who to drop, roster concerns, something like that, throw it in the chat. Hopefully we can help you make sense of your team and get through losing McCaffrey, and still give you and hopefully we can help you still get a shot to win it all.
Right.
But thank you, bro. Mr. B, what's going on?
What's up, Mr. B?
Yeah, this is one we were talking about. Dontrell Hilliard and Donta Foreman. The Titans' run game is very fantasy friendly. They are the second heaviest rushing team in the NFL. Now I know those numbers are skewed by the fact that they were rushing with Derrick Henry for 8 games, and they were giving him 30 rushes on the ground every game, and that does skew numbers. But
the only question is,
if you add up what
McNichols
Dontrell Hilliard and Donta Foreman did on the ground, I mean, it averaged up to basically what the touches were for Derrick Henry. So they're basically splitting that Derrick Henry work 2 ways, but they're still rushing the same amount. So the Titans, second heaviest rushing team in the NFL. Don't overthink it. I agree. What were you saying about McNichols?
Does Jeremy McNichols complicate things, though, when he comes back? That's the only thing.
It depends when he's coming back. Is he coming back this week?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I should know. Sorry. Let me look. He's back to... Oh, crap. He's on bye this week. Duh. I mean, he's dealing with a concussion, so 1 more week off, we could be looking at a musical chairs 3-headed monster. That's all. But yes, it has been very fantasy friendly. We'll see how things shake out in practice ahead of week 14.
Something to think about. We'll keep an eye on that whole situation, and come Saturday we'll have a better picture of how to advise you with the Titans moving forward. But yeah, man, chase that offense if there's only 2 running backs playing on Sunday. Yeah.
Yep.
Joe Harris, what's going on? Thank you for the kind words. You have the 5th waiver spot.
Yeah, appreciate
AJ
that.
Brown, Amari Cooper, Hunter Renfrow, and DJ Moore are your wide receivers. Kamara, Ingram, Swift, and Najee Harris are your running backs. Who would Chuba Hubbard, Boston Scott, Van Jefferson? I mean, Swift is out. Kamara, we're not sure about. And is Ingram still all the way out too?
Kamara is quite, but he does have Ingram.
But is Ingram healthy? Because Ingram wasn't healthy.
Ingram's fine.
Game.
Ingram's getting
Jones
in.
Jr. Okay.
Ingram's fine. Getting in full practices. Ingram's fine.
And A.J. Brown and Amari Cooper are all the way out. I think I'd be going for Van Jefferson here, man.
I'm going Van because Chuba's not helping you this week. He might help you week 14 in a good matchup against the Falcons. But then again, weeks 15, 16, 17, Chuba's got to see Buffalo, Tampa, New Orleans. Those are 3 of the toughest run defenses in the NFL. I am not super bullish on Chuba just because I expect him to get most of the work from here on out. A.J. Brown is out for the first week of the playoffs. Amari Cooper is set to miss his 3rd straight game due to COVID. And DJ Moore just was a big play away from falling victim to a dud performance due to one of the worst quarterback performances I've ever seen. I think Van Jefferson is your play, Joe.
Yeah, and if you had healthy options at wide receiver, even if they were a little bit less of a high caliber of what you have, but yeah, then I would be going Chuba.
Pretty good at wide receiver. You're hurting pretty good at wide receiver. I'm
going
Van.
The fact that you're out A.J. Brown for at least the next 2 weeks and Amari Cooper possibly the next 2 weeks, you got to go wide receiver here.
Or it's looking like, let's put it this way, it's looking like Cooper might miss his 3rd straight game.
Yeah.
Apparently he got it pretty good. He got the virus pretty good. I am always a proponent of getting as many running backs as you possibly can, especially this time of year. Yep. But given your situation and given those are your options at running back, I'm saying Van.
Agreed.
I'm saying Van.
I mean, your running backs are super deep. You got Kamara and Harris and Swift.
Yeah. Kamara's on the mend. Swift is kind of meh, but like if you have the healthy option between Kamara and Ingram and Najee,
you'll be all right.
You're not going to have A.J. Brown for the first round of the playoffs, so I'm going Van.
Going Van too.
Going Van.
In a vacuum, my answer would be different, but considering what you laid out beforehand, I think it makes sense.
In a vacuum, it would be a running back, but with this specific situation, I'm going the wide receiver.
Alex Watts, thanks again for your the 5 pounds there. Appreciate it. Brett McCoy, with Debo down for 1 to 2 weeks, Brett? Should I pick up and play the other Samuel?
No. Curtis? No. No.
There's got to be better options out there on the waiver wire for you.
Yeah. Nah. Not Curtis.
And Joe, you're 7-5 in the 5th spot, or with this in the 6th spot. All right. Well, I mean, you got a winning record.
There you go.
With those running
backs,
that's
all that matters this time of year. That's all that matters this time of year.
Yeah, with that roster, I'm not surprised. But to keep your strong record going, I'd go with Van. Johnny Cause, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate the kind words. Appreciate all the donations. That was too kind.
Yeah,
hopefully,
man.
hopefully we send you in the right direction.
Hopefully.
That is the goal. That is the plan. Mr. B said put a claim in the order. Yeah, I think in his situation I would prefer the wide receiver, Mr. B.
I think I'd still put in offers.
Sure, put a claim in for Chuba. Put a claim in for Boston Scott if you don't. Yeah.
But Van takes priority here based on your situation.
I'm prioritizing Van.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, lots of people still got Sutton, bro. Lots of people still got Sutton.
If Drew Lock's bum ass gets in there, then maybe he helps Sutton. But I'm not holding my breath on that.
I'm not holding my breath, but I mean, he is the wide receiver, the de facto wide receiver 1 there. So I mean, I haven't been rushing to start him, but I also haven't been rushing to try to trade him away from my team because I like having number 1 wide receivers on my squad, even if they are only in name right now. I don't know what else to say about Sutton. Hasn't been performing, but I was never rushing to get him off my team at any point in this season. Jaime, I think I'm holding tight. Coleman.
Nah.
Yeah.
You're right. Coleman's not in his prime, but he's still getting 18 freaking touches in this past game.
Interested in anybody playing running back for the Jets if it isn't Michael Carter.
Yeah. I'm not interested in any jet as long as Zach Wilson's the quarterback either.
That too. Because I was all the way wrong on Jamison Crowder last week. I got to eat that one. Sorry for anybody else led astray with my Jamison Crowder.
I got to eat that one too because I played him. Worse for me. But anyway. Andrew, all the way from Australia. That's pretty
Oh, yeah,
cool.
Mr. B.
Oh, there's no. I didn't see. Yeah, he didn't see. He hasn't seen you till today.
Oh,
yes,
well,
that is John in all of his glory.
Yeah, what's that mean? He looks exactly like he sounds. I don't know how to take that.
Yeah,
but hey,
we'll say it's
thanks for your sticking with us and being in here, bro. You mean there's no wide receivers on the waiver better than Galladay or Sutton? I mean,
yeah. I mean, there's gotta be streamers out there.
Yeah.
If you start 3 receivers, though, that well can dry up kind of quick. But yeah, there's gotta be somebody out there.
Andrew Dre F. Yeah, man. Thank you for joining us from Australia, bro.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Took your advice last week and kept my running backs. Now I have Kamara, Elliott, Henderson, CEH, and picked up Madison on waivers. Looking forward to a solid finals. Hey.
Yeah, you got your horses.
Good job, bro.
You got your horses. You're ready. You're ready to go. You're ready to go. You love to see it.
Hey, Mr. B.
Oh,
we try.
Hopefully we gave you some good pickups, not some bad ones. But yeah, we try to keep an eye on all the depth charts.
Yeah, the fab dollars are there to spend it.
They're there. Yeah, they're not there to hang on to.
If you have a bunch of fab dollars by the end of the year and you didn't win your league or weren't second, if you weren't a runner up, then you did something wrong. I'm sorry. If somebody's gonna give you fake money to make your team better, use it. It's
monopoly money.
Use it.
Yeah.
Use it.
It's monopoly money to pick up guys, to pick up help.
Yeah, and there's always those people in any league I've been in where if you overpay on somebody and use too much fab, they're making jokes at your expense. But yo, if somebody gives you free monopoly money to spend to help to make your team better, use it.
You use it and you run. Ask questions later.
Yep. And hey, we don't know every player on every depth chart, but we're close.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
I'm glad we could help you in some tight spots this year, bro. If you got any more questions for us,
that makes me feel a little better.
Yep. All right, Andrew
Brady Rogers, Hollywood's a wide receiver 1. DJ Moore, Thielen, Odell came to life. Waller. Okay, so we need a tight end fill in for this week, but yeah, you're looking solid. That running back depth, you'll be all right, Andrew.
Yeah,
you'll be all right. And Alex is coming on Leicester. How do you say it? Leicester.
Yeah, no. Did you hear about that? I think Leicester is the team in the Premier League.
That's the team that won the Premier League a few years ago.
That jumped all the way up and won just from nothing.
Everyone was basically saying it was like against all odds. Like this is like the most. It was everybody. I remember there were always people on Twitter that would be like, explain this in NFL terms, and it was always like, imagine a practice squad team winning the Super Bowl.
Not even that. I think it's because you can't. It's not even in the same league. I think if it's like an NFL Europe team came over and won the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Let's put it this way. The odds were 100%, million% stacked against them, and they pulled it off. So pretty dope.
All right. Could you please rank best to worst rest of season? Michael Gallup, Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, Chase Claypool.
Oof. This is tough. They're all pretty close. I mean, Gallup gets a boost if Amari Cooper is not playing, but let's assume that
Amari's all the way fine. He's coming back.
Yeah, let's assume Amari's back for the fantasy playoffs. I might say Higgins number 1. The Bengals are rolling.
I was thinking that's the way you would go. And
I might say Higgins 1.
Higgins, Smith.
Smith and Gallup are close.
It's just the fact that
but Smith is a 1.
Smith is a 1, and I know he had a dud game last week, but we can't expect that every week. And Smith has had more consistency than you would think.
Right, one bad game.
And Gallup, it's really a question mark of whether or not other players in the offense are playing full-time roles. So I think I'm going Higgins, Smith, Gallup, Claypool.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Claypool's fourth, but I don't think he's like a bad fourth in this situation. But no. Good options. They're all good. They're all good players. They're all good. They're all very good players. Gallup could be a team's wide receiver one any given on, there are a slew of teams where Gallup could be the team's easy wide receiver one.
And I think he will have a shot to prove that next year.
He deserves it.
Yep. Mr. B, half of that is from the week Travis Kelce torched them.
Was it?
Are we talking about the Washington football team?
I don't remember
tight end
that
averages
happening. Did they play yet? What did Travis Kelce do?
I don't know. Did they play?
They did, but he didn't. I mean, he went 8 for 99. Who did? I mean, he crushed Cleveland and Baltimore. I mean, he's been rock solid. He's only had 2 games where he hasn't had double-digit half PPR points, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Clarifying the chat if you want to. E111. Yeah, man, that was you threw us. You hit us with
that
the
was
tough
difficult.
One, but Foster Moreau. And yo, Uzi, what's going on, bro?
Uzi, what's going on? I feel like I haven't seen Uzi for a little bit. What's going on, Uzi?
I traded Gronk and DJ Moore for Chubb in non-PPR. Thoughts? My tight end is Kelce.
Nice.
I like that. Yeah,
I like it.
Hey, if your tight end is Kelce,
you got a low-end RB1.
You probably picked up Gronk off waivers.
Hell yeah.
And you can't trust DJ Moore to be the wide receiver one he was when Sam Darnold was looking like Joe Montana.
Was feeling competent in week 3.
Yeah. So no, that's a solid trade.
I like
and
it.
You're buying low on Chubb
like
right
it.
now. So that solid.
I like it.
Solid.
Yep.
Nathan Larson, thanks for joining us. 2QB league. I have Kyler Murray, Tyrod Taylor, and Matt Ryan. Should I pick up Taysom Hill for QB2?
So I mentioned this earlier, and this obviously could. I didn't confirm this report, but Fantasy Pros put a tweet out earlier that Taysom Hill's not necessarily a lock to start. And Yahoo now has this update on their page as well. Sean Payton, when asked about it, said, "quote unquote, we'll see." So, like, by all accounts, he probably should start if he's healthy because Trevor Siemian stinks. But we're doing this crap again where we're doing this dance where it's like, who's going to be the quarterback? We don't actually know. I would assume Taysom Hill gets the start. But, if you were moving to get, like, maybe you got Aaron Rodgers on bye, maybe you got a banged up Jalen Hurts and he's on bye week 14. Maybe you were looking at Taysom Hill as a QB fill-in. It feels all of a sudden like a true wait and see situation. I would hate to suggest to pick him up and then Sean Payton pulls some Sean Payton BS and starts Trevor Siemian again for God knows whatever reason.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is the type of crap
Stranger
that he
things,
does.
Man. Stranger things have happened.
Right. So I get it. The high rushing upside from Taysom Hill makes him very interesting as a spot start at quarterback this week.
But are you?
I would say hold. Because you could play Tyrod. I don't want to play Matt Ryan, but you could still play Tyrod in a by the numbers decent matchup against Indianapolis. I mean, you could pick him up for rest of season
Tyrod played the Jets last week and had a bad game, or not a great game. 2 touchdowns through the air. It wasn't a great game.
Yeah.
But that was against the Jets. That's the best matchup pretty much anybody can have. And he didn't blow the world up. And, I mean, his leading receiver had 3 catches for 45 yards. And he wasn't lighting it up on the ground running the ball, which is a floor that we count on for Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah, I
confident
don't
in Tyrod?
Not really.
After
But
not
I don't
being
know
able,
that.
after having a QB2
Who are you?
game
Who would you be
versus
Taysom? Who would you be dropping for Taysom, Nathan? Let us know.
Yeah.
We got some. This is like chat is filling in. So why don't we get to these? Yeah, let's keep this moving.
Thank you very much.
Because I'm sure there's some people that have been waiting.
Yeah.
Mr.
B, it was a nice trade, I think.
Well,
and I want to be in a league where Madison's sitting.
Yeah,
on the
I
wire
do too. I guess
too.
I just, if he's this will be the last thing that I take too much time on. But what is his ownership in Yahoo leagues? I'm looking at Madison right now. 53%. So you're talking about almost half of the leagues in Yahoo leagues that Madison is available. But yeah, in more competitive leagues, he's probably not.
Yeah.
Uzi, from best to worst, non-PPR, Renfro, Bourne, Sony Michel, Boston Scott, Hilliard, Bateman. I think Renfro, non-PPR. I would still say Renfro's number one. He's essentially the Raiders wide receiver one.
Especially with Waller out.
Especially with Waller. So Renfro, as far as a pickup, would be number one. Bateman, number two. He's been rock solid. The last two games have been kind of blah, but one of those Lamar didn't play. Sony Michel is number one if Darrell Henderson is out, but we're not going to know that right away. So I'll put him 3. Kendrick Bourne, I'll put 4. Boston Scott and Hilliard. The only reason I'm having Hilliard kind of low is because Hilliard's on a bye this week and he's not going to play. He'd be a little higher if he was going to play. Renfro, Bateman, Sony Michel, Kendrick Bourne, and then I'll say Hilliard for when he comes back, but he is on bye this week, and then Boston Scott will be last. How's that sound?
I would agree with that.
Cool.
Thank you for the question.
Renfro,
Jack.
number 1.
Would you drop Freiermuth for Hubbard? My starter is Waller. If your starter is Waller, no.
No.
But you do have Freiermuth.
Rank higher? I guess Odell. He came back to life. He came back to life this week. He scored a long touchdown. They thought enough of him to bring him in, even with Van Jefferson on the roster when Robert Woods was healthy. I'll say Odell.
I think it's Odell. I love what Van Jefferson's been doing.
I like Van a lot for the rest of the season.
But I think it's Odell.
It's gonna keep popping.
Yeah, I think it's Odell.
Close.
But would you drop Freiermuth for
Alex,
Hubbard?
which running? Then it would have been Freiermuth, so he might be looking at.
Right, but then why are you picking up Hubbard
third tight end?
You need a third tight end.
True. Yeah, pick up a third tight end, Andrew.
And I think somewhere down below somebody said that Freiermuth might be starting. He might be okay.
If he's okay, then great. But then don't drop him.
Yeah, we're not advocating drop Freiermuth.
No.
Put your put your roster. You already have your roster.
Put the available tight ends on the wire. That's what I would do, or in the chat.
I mean, he has Kamara, Henderson, CEH, picked up Madison.
Yeah, you're not dropping any of those dudes.
He has Brady and Rodgers. Would you drop one of your quarterbacks then? But he has Malcolm Brown, DJ Moore, Adam
Rodgers
Thielen,
on bye,
OBJ.
so you can't drop.
I don't know if I'd drop any. You need to drop somebody so you can start a tight end.
I would wait. I would not make a move yet. Let's see what happens with Freiermuth later in the week.
Solid. It's a good move. Good move.
And then Alex Watts, which running back for the rest of the season, Murray or Collins? Murray. I'm not a Collins. Collins might lose his job. Didn't look good. Fumbled. Give me a guy in the Ravens rushing attack over a bad
never a high caliber running
team.
back to begin with. They just threw him in there because
Murray.
He was available, right? Yeah, Murray. I don't feel great about it, but Murray. And I'm sorry to hear that you're struggling. That sucks.
Yeah,
that's bad luck, bro.
You lost a lot of running backs this year. Yeah,
right,
give me Murray.
You got a kicker question.
Slim. I'm going Mick Goetson. Give me Evan McGoatson. He has been dozing the past couple of weeks. 20 fantasy points against the Raiders, 13 last week against the Steelers. Another beautiful matchup this week at home against the Chargers. Check the weather. Let's just make sure there's no gross weather in Cincinnati this coming Sunday. If the weather is fine, if the wind isn't too bad, if the rain isn't too, if there's no rain, if there's little to no wind, McPherson.
That's your boy, McGoatson.
McGoatson.
Seriously, every single time he does something, Nick texts me randomly. He'll just McGoatson, just like yeah. Every single time he does something.
He kicked a 23-year-old. He kicked a 23-yard field goal.
A 23-year-old field goal. Yay!
And Mr. B, Houston week. Hell yeah, T.Y. Hilton. Let's go. Yeah, what is Jets week? I'm curious. And then considered, so I mentioned Deshaun Jackson. The only thing with Russell Gage, he's not like a tone setter. He goes as the offense goes. And if the Falcons offense stinks, he's going to stink. If they're doing okay, he might do okay.
He's a compiler.
I don't hate Deshaun, though.
By the end of the season, Russell, you'll look at Russell Gage and be like, oh, wow, end of the year, he kind of performed like a wide receiver 3. He was probably valuable. But week to week, he's not a guy that I feel confident trusting in at all. At least Deshaun Jackson has
he can make a big
ceiling
play
that he's already hit.
Deshaun's got a floor of 0, but he's got a ceiling of 20 points.
Yeah.
B3 Solo, what's going on? Sorry about the running backs, but that's a good job picking up Breida. I think he's the Bills running back to own. Who do the Bills get this week on 10 days rest?
Patriots.
Ooh. Yeah.
This Breida is the way to beat the Patriots.
How do you counter a good run defense with a pass catching running back? If you,
that has some speed. I mean, Moss and Singletary.
Moss
they got
is
some
toast.
Skill sets. They're kind of plotters.
Moss is toast. Singletary is a plotter.
Singletary can make you miss in a phone booth, but he can't run away from a phone booth. He's stuck in that phone. He's stuck in that phone booth.
He's stuck in the phone booth.
Yeah.
He's in a glass case of emotion. And Mr. B.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever. Dude, this is the first time I've seen an athlete miss this much time due to COVID. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's Amari Cooper's just hurting himself and hurting the team. That's all I'll say. Slim, and B3, thanks for joining. Of course.
Always, bro. What's going on, B3?
With how grotesque Seattle's looking, would you play San Fran or Indy against Houston this week? So you got 2 division opponents here, so obviously those games can get wonky as hell. Where is that game? I think Indy's on the road, right? That makes me want to start T.Y. Hilton even more. He always crushes Houston, but I feel like he pops in Houston, not in Indy. San Fran plays Seattle on the road, so they're both on the road. To that point, then I would probably lean the Colts. Let
me just say this.
I'll give Russell Wilson one more week of respect at home.
Nobody on the Houston team strikes fear.
Nah.
There's at least
Brandon Cooks caught a touchdown.
Okay, one person on the Houston offense strikes fear into me as a person playing their defense. For Seattle, I know they haven't been playing well, but there are 3 people that give me pause in that offense that maybe they could find a way to put up some points. DK, Lockett, Russell. I only trust Brandon Cooks in that Houston offense, so I'm going Indy.
Yeah, I'll go slight edge to Indy. I'll give Russell Wilson one more week at home as far as avoiding him with a defense. But after that, that's it. But give me Indy on the road in a bounce back game. In a bounce back game for the Colts. In a huge division game for them.
Yeah.
Give me Indianapolis.
Mr. B, I'm staying away from the Jets too. And I was about to fight you. Now we don't have to fight. Now you can stay in the chat.
Smooth voice John over here.
Appreciate you. Now you're my favorite person here. Now you're my favorite person here.
And he's in second place. Can we okay? We'll say some of our waiver suggestions maybe contributed to that. Hopefully. Yeah, cheers to that. I'll pour a drink to that after this is over.
All right. All right, Cam. Rank these this week: Devonta Smith, Brandon Cooks, Ayuk, and Elijah Moore.
I hate to do it, but Elijah Moore has got to be last if Zach Wilson's the quarterback.
Yeah.
I'll say Brandon Ayuk is number 1. Oh, there you go, John. John, is that water?
Yeah.
That's okay. Good. I'm gonna pour a not water drink later. Later though, I'll be responsible. Brandon Ayuk is number 1 without Deebo Samuel. Cam, he's number 1. I'll say the Eagles get the Jets. So if Jalen Hurts is fine, if Jalen Hurts plays, Devontae Smith is 2. If he sits, Brandon Cooks is 2. So Ayuk, Devontae Smith, Brandon Cooks, pending the health of Jalen Hurts. An active Jalen Hurts puts Smith at 2 for me. Inactive, give me Brandon Cooks at 2. And then I hate to do it, but Elijah Moore with Zach Wilson has to be 4th. Don't trust Zach Wilson looks bad.
He's giving me Josh Rosen vibes.
Ooh, that's not
like
good.
He's giving me like this guy might not last and be the starter next year vibes. Mm-hmm. But Andrew JF, cheers.
Appreciate that,
cheers
man.
To you too.
Thanks so
you,
much.
Bro.
Yeah, cheers from Australia, or well, in Australia. We're not there. I gotta get there.
I
one
went
day.
there once. I don't
You've
remember
been to Australia?
I was a baby.
You were very
yes,
young. Okay.
I technically did swim in the Great Barrier Reef.
That's pretty cool.
With floaties on, and I don't remember it. But yo, Andrew, thanks, bro.
Yeah, appreciate that. Hopefully we were able to help a little bit. Don't need a tight end the next 2 weeks.
We're in
Tight end's
Australia.
available.
I got some homies in Queensland.
Oh, there you go. Who the hell do you know in Australia?
I could list some names. They wouldn't mean anything to you.
All right, save it. Foster Moreau, though, if you can, since you have Waller. Oh, Tyler Higbee's out there too. Since you already have Waller, let's stick with Moreau. But also, I'm not trying to necessarily drop any of the dudes that you have. And that's a tough call. That's tough.
Where are we at? I'm sorry.
Just at the bottom, or right above the 9-3 wins clear, so don't need a tight end the next 2 weeks. Well, if you're in first place, if 3 wins are clear, I hate suggesting taking a 0 at the position, but if you don't need a guy and there's nobody clear on your team to drop, then maybe just hold out hope on Freiermuth, and if he sits, like at least you still got a dope ass roster.
Yeah, you're still gonna be alive if you win and if you lose this next week. But
if you're 3 wins clear and you lose the next 2, you're still the 1 seed.
The goal is if you're 9-3 is to have the best roster by the fantasy playoffs.
Well, you're right now. It's just you're pretty much guaranteed a bye week, so you're on to the playoffs at this point essentially.
And I'm not with how strong your team is everywhere else. I'm not dropping anybody to pick up a tight end, so I agree.
Right. Yep, I'm good with that plan. I hate taking a 0 at the position, but given your specific situation, Andrew, you could afford it.
And who knows, man? You might even survive it. So
you might survive it. What crazier things have happened? Taking a 0 at the tight end position is not a death
tight end
sentence.
Can give you a 0 because tight end is such a crazy position. It's a crazy
volatile
position.
Like yeah, right. Like 3.5 points on 2K. Like who cares?
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, stick with what you got. Nobody that you probably need to desperately drop. Just let's hold out hope on Freiermuth. If he can clear concussion protocol, fantastic. If he can't, you are in good shape regardless.
Agreed.
But thank you for this. Thank you for the super.
Yep. Appreciate it, bro.
And then Mr. B's in second. That's cool. Cam, we rank your wide receivers. Mr. B, appreciate the kind words.
Absolutely, bro.
All we can do is hope that we help the people that decide to stop by.
Yeah, we're glad that we are your secret weapon.
Yeah. I don't mind being a secret weapon.
Yeah.
If we help people who stop by. If they do, fantastic. If they don't, well then you guys get to talk to us.
There you
go. That's how I feel. Cam, Javonte or Sony Michel if Henderson is out. That is tough, but I think
in that case you go Sony Michel because he's getting the entire
Sony because he's the dude.
It's not that I don't like Javonte Williams.
So he should get the work.
Javonte Williams just had a great week. Led the Broncos in receiving, But Sony Michel, if Henderson is out, is getting all of the work for a good offense. I'm going Sony Michel there. Doesn't feel great. I'm going Sony Michel.
And in a game against Jacksonville at home, like, they should clean the floor with them. Should. Doesn't mean they will, but game script would favor Sony Michel there. But if Henderson is in, Javonte.
Mr. B, you already know. And yo, Slim, thoughts on Philip Lindsay? Got some touches in this week with a new team. He almost matched Myles Gaskin in touches in his first week in this offense.
It's the Giants this week. It's the Jets after the bye week. 12 for 42 is not
Lindsay,
bad.
I don't love him, but he's getting work.
Remember, he got work most likely. He got some decent work because the Dolphins blew the Panthers out in a game script that I don't think anybody saw coming. Now, Lindsey is also, he can catch passes here and there, but I feel like he hasn't been asked to do that much in his career, or as much as maybe you would hope or think.
Well, no, yeah, I think the narrative on him is because he is a smaller, speedier back. Usually, when we see that, that come with plus clutch pass catching. But Lindsey's bread and butter has not been pass catching. He's just an efficient runner. He's an efficient runner based off of the fact that he's so small and he can sneak through holes that some of these bigger linemen create. He's not a pass catcher. Melvin Gordon was the better pass catcher last year on the Denver Broncos. And that was one of the reasons why they let Philip Lindsay go in order to get Javonte Williams on their team. It was because they wanted two backs that were a threat to do both and not just one. And Philip Lindsay also, because he's so small, isn't the best pass protector.
I mean, it's a good matchup by the numbers against the Giants at home. They get their bye week, and then they get the Jets the first week of the playoffs. Not dying, I'm playing Lindsey if all other options are exhausted, and that's about it. Like decent NFL player deserves to be in the NFL, not a guy that I'm trying to start for my fantasy team. And yeah,
Mr. B and Johnny K's, we've been bouncing up and down because
sorry,
whenever
we
get
a
super,
couple.
We bounce down to address the super, and then we bounce back up to continue going down the list in the chat because there were more supers, and we appreciate all the supers. Thank you very much.
Oh crap, we missed a super by Johnny.
Did we?
Oh, that's our bad.
Where?
Yeah, Hilton is on waivers. When we were talking about Jets week. Sorry about that, Johnny. Oh, God, that's our bad. Yeah, Hilton is on waivers. Would you play Hilton, Renfro, or Mooney over Lockett? Yeah, sorry about that, Johnny. No, I wouldn't play any of those guys over Lockett. Lockett is the more reliable wide receiver in Seattle right now. Not that you feel really good about anybody on the Seattle offense anyway, but if there's anybody who has been producing with a little bit of consistency recently, it's been Tyler Lockett. 4 for 115 a couple of weeks ago, and then what did you do last night? I know he had a couple of big plays, a couple of big catches. Yeah,
he was the most productive member of that offense
by far,
and it wasn't even close.
3 for 96, and 1 was a 40-yard catch. So he's still making big plays, even though sometimes the volume isn't always there as far as the catches. Definitely not playing Hilton over Lockett, even though I'd like T.Y. as a stream this week against Houston if you're into that narrative of T.Y. has in his entire career has always torched the Texans. But even Renfro and Mooney, who are absolutely viable starts for the rest of the season, I am playing Lockett over all three.
And I agree wholeheartedly with that. But Johnny,
Mooney's been solid. Renfro's been solid.
We're sorry we missed your super chat. That is not intentional.
Yeah, sorry about that, Johnny.
And it's not something we're trying to make a habit of. And thank you, chat, for putting us on blast to get his question answered. Yeah. If that happens in the future in any live stream, put us on blast. We got to make sure that
yeah,
we answer these supers because we appreciate it very much.
we gotta
And,
take care.
We're sorry
we gotta
about the
take care of
mix-up
people.
there,
Who do that.
Yep.
We gotta take care of everybody, but we definitely gotta take care of those.
Yep.
But yeah, Lockett is of those 4. Lockett's your top option. Then Mooney, then Renfro, then Hilton.
Yep.
Then Renfro, then Mooney. If you start with 3 receivers, Lockett, Renfro, Mooney. If you only start 2, Lockett, and then the question gets a little bit more difficult between Renfro and Mooney. Whereas maybe I slightly lean Renfro because of the matchup against Washington.
No Waller. I'm going Renfro.
No Waller.
I'm going Renfro there. I know Mooney's been the most consistent wide receiver in that offense, but you can't necessarily trust the quarterbacks in that offense on a week-to-week basis. Whereas you can trust Renfro even if Waller's in, but Waller's out.
Lockett, Renfro, Mooney. I like Ty as a stream, but he is older now. He definitely has lost a step, so I wouldn't play him over those other 3 options. But Lockett, Renfro, Mooney in that order. And if you can start all 3, do it.
And once again, sorry about that, Johnny, and thanks again, Mr. B, for keeping us on the straight and narrow. Nathan Larson, it is a Dynasty League deep bench. I also have Trey Lance, and I would drop Tommy Tremble.
Wow, this was this was for picking up Taysom Hill.
I don't think Tremble's a hold.
If it's in Dynasty, then sure. If it's in Dynasty, then sure. Because the Saints quarterback situation is incredibly unsettled. And Taysom Hill just got a new contract.
Would you drop Tommy Tremble?
Sure. I would drop Tremble.
I guess we're not expecting this offense to get much better all of a sudden.
Not now.
And tight ends, I mean, they can take 2 to 3, 4 years to mature. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I would do it. It never feels good cutting somebody that you just drafted, who technically does have some promise. But I mean, I do believe that Tommy Tremble is a few years out.
And at the end of the day, even in Dynasty, you're playing to win this week.
Yep. So. The Chosen Rose was popping. Start 3: Cordarrelle Patterson, Alexander Mattison, Ezekiel Elliott, Austin Eckler. Wow. Patterson, Eckler,
Patterson, and Madison. Zeke's got a brutal matchup against the Saints, and he's banged up. Yep. Give me Patterson, Madison, Eckler. Yep. Even if Zeke is active on Thursday night, by all accounts, he's not healthy.
Yeah.
Like it. First, it was like, oh, he's going to be rested. And then it was like, oh, he's fine. He's going to play. He's dealing with multiple issues. Let's play Patterson, Madison, Eckler.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm looking up the Russell Gage here because Mr. B, Gage is getting 8+ targets every game lately.
Gage getting 8+. Yeah. He's just not reliable.
Well, not every game. One game, week 11, but not every game. Well, 2 games, week 9
I mean,
too.
it's Patterson. The
in
whole
those,
offense is Patterson.
And in those games, in which he got 8 targets, 6.4 fantasy points and 4.9 fantasy points.
Gage is not. Gage
has not led to fantasy production. So I get what you're doing.
Gage is not it.
Chasing targets is normally a smart idea.
It's normally fun. I understand. Yeah, somebody's got to do something in that offense, but Gage is not it. That's just. I think that's a player problem, not necessarily a scheme problem. Like, no offense to Russell Gage, I'm sure he's a nice guy. He's just not it, or maybe he's not. I don't know. We are over 3 hours as well on this, though, so we are going to be wrapping this up shortly. But let's
run through these. Andrew JF.
Let's run through these. We appreciate that we've got an audience that wants to listen to us ramble on for 3 hours. We appreciate that, and hopefully we're helping out. But my dog is at me right now, desperately trying to get me to feed him dinner. I should probably do the same for myself. But anyway, we appreciate all y'all. For stopping by and your questions. This is fun as always.
Andrew JF.
But we are coming to the end.
What's up? What's up with Melbourne? I wanna check out Melbourne.
South in Melbourne.
I gotta get to Australia as an adult.
I would like to do that. That would be cool.
Mr. B, didn't Hawkinson put up a 0?
Yeah,
in
that garbage tie against Pittsburgh on the road in the rain.
He had a few weeks there where he was hitting his absolute floor. Yeah, but he's picked it up of late. But I mean, I like picking up Barkley.
I mean, don't hate the gamble on a running back, even though I'm not crazy about Saquon rest of season. He's like an RB2-ish rest of year. I mean, yeah, you're not gonna have Waller for a game, and Bass gets the Patriots, and this might not be a good week to play Bass. Apparently, there might be snow in Buffalo this week, so you maybe dodged a bullet with playing Bass this week. But you're talking about a pretty safe kicker and a tight end 1. So Elver, who is actually I'm less concerned about your kicker. Who's your?
Yeah, we all know you can go and pick up Evan McGoatson off the wire, but you're who's your tight end?
McGoatson.
Andrew JF. I'm glad we could help. And Mr. B, I don't know if I would sit Lockett. Renfro is solid though for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd sit
Lockett and Renfro would be
either.
1-2 there.
Yep.
But Lockett 1.
And hey, thanks for being understanding. Appreciate it. And Mooney.
Hopefully that helped.
Mooney is a beast.
Happy to be here to answer questions. That's what we're here for. That's what we do.
Mooney is a beast. Is your trade deadline still open? Can you trade?
If you could start all 3.
If you can start all 3, yeah. But
I kind of like having that depth too.
It's a good decision. It's a good decision to have to make.
Yep.
And Kells, what's going on? Kells 22. Antonio Brown or Michael
AB or
Pittman?
I mean,
Pittman.
We got to see AB. We haven't seen him for like 5 weeks now or more.
Yeah.
Pittman, and Antonio, and not AB's not even a lock to play yet anyway.
Yeah.
But Pittman at this stage in the week, Pittman.
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny,
and the trade deadline is over.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. I like those. I like those wide receivers.
Yep.
Oh, and get full PPR. Yeah, if you get 8 catches on 8 targets, that's dope. Russell Gage is not that dude.
Yeah, I don't know has he ever gotten 8 catches on 8 targets?
He probably had 8 catches at some point in his career. But he's not it. Sorry, Russell Gage. He's just not it. We have reached the end of the chat. Unless there's anybody who still needs to put, like, if we asked any follow-ups about like who's your tight end or who's your running back now or whatever, now's your chance to throw it in real quick if you can. But we have reached the end of the chat, and we have been at this for several hours.
Yeah. So yeah,
he is bothering the hell out of me right now. It's like, dude, get away from me.
To the question,
low end RB2 option. Clyde's got some RB1 upside, but he's got way more upside.
Yeah. But again, thanks to everybody that's in here. Thanks to everybody who threw us a super chat. Thanks to everybody who subscribed. Thanks to all the newcomers and the old heads. You already know we'll be back on here Saturday.
Yep.
6 p.m.
We'll be back Saturday Eastern. You gotta remember to throw your time zones in. Not everybody's on the East Coast like you.
Yeah. Shut up.
6 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks everybody.
6 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. 6 p.m. Eastern for Saturday for start, sit, help. We will be here answering a real quick. I'll get to Joe's question really quick. Let me see. Hang on. Need a tight end and flex. Would I play Stevenson, Schultz, or Logan Thomas, or play Stevenson, Schultz, or Logan Thomas, or drop one of these guys for any like Scott, Sony, Bourne? If you can pick up Sony, that's probably a lateral move. Dropping Stevenson. I would play Dalton Schultz with no Amari Cooper. Actually, no. I'll play. I need to think on that one, Joe. If you can, come back on Saturday because I need to marinate on that one. Come back on Saturday for some more start, sit, help.
If you need a win, I'm dropping Stevenson for Sony Michel. Sony Michel is going to get all of the work in the Rams' backfield, whereas Stevenson is splitting the work with Damian Harris and Brandon Bolden, who have caught a fair amount of targets last week.
And Brandon Bolden.
So it's a 3-way committee. I'm going with the guy that's
right.
not
Schultz
splitting work with anybody.
And
if you need a tight end and a flex, I'm choosing between one of those tight ends, and I'm dropping Stevenson for Sony.
I'm picking up Sony. Yeah, that's a good call. Pick up Sony just in the event that Darrell Henderson has to miss. I'm miraculously healthy and able to play, then I would probably pivot to Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas also has a beautiful matchup this week. If you prefer the great matchup, then wait until Sunday for Logan Thomas. If Amari Cooper sits and you want that consolidated target share, then Schultz.
Logan Thomas is going up against the Las Vegas Raiders, who are giving up 14.4 fantasy points to opposing tight ends on average.
That's a lot.
Good matchup there.
That's a lot.
All right,
Logan Thomas has a beautiful matchup, Joe.
I just got another error message that our stream is unstable, so I'm going to close it out, you guys. Thanks for everybody that's still in here. Thanks for all the supers and everything that we already said earlier. But hope you guys have a great night.
Yeah,
hope you guys
appreciate
have a great rest of your week, and we'll see y'all hopefully on Saturday.
See y'all Saturday.